and welcome to the Village of Lansing's board meeting, August 18th, 2026. Will you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good evening, everyone. Clerk, will you please take roll?
Trustee Zolman.
Here.
Trustee Robinson. Here. Trustee Bossy.
Here.
Trustee Smith. Here. Trustee Lamont.
Here.
Trustee Valencia is absent with excuse. Trustees have before them the minutes of the village board meeting on July 21st, 2026. Are there any questions or discussions? If not, I need a motion to accept.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Clerk, please take roll.
Trustee Bossy.
Aye.
Trustee Zolman.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson. Trustee Smith. Abstain. Thank you. And Trustee Lamont.
Aye.
Thank you. Trustees also have before them the minutes of the executive session meeting held in the regular board meeting on July 21, 2026. Are there any questions or discussions on that? If not, I need a motion to accept.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Bossy.
Aye.
Trustee Zolman.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson. Aye. Trustee Smith. Abstain. And Trustee Lamont.
Aye.
Thank you. Trustees also have the minutes before the executive session meeting held on for the committee of the whole meeting on July 21st, 2026. Again, any questions or discussions? I need a motion to accept.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Bossy.
Aye.
Trustee Zolman.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson. Recuse.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Smith. Abstain. Trustee Lamont.
Aye.
Thank you, Clerk. Under this mayor's report, we have the gentleman that just stepped right in, Mr. Al Kindle. You are, look at that. Sir, we have you to just a special, Al Kindle is a special assistant to Cook County President Toni PRECKWINKLE. Al, I invited him, he would love to be here, which he is. Thank you, sir. Kind of give us a little bit of an update on the county level and the two times that we've had Madam President PRECKWINKLE come to our village to assess the damage, which was very nice. Thank you, Al.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing? My name is Dr. Adolphus Kendall. I'm Special Assistant with Cook County Board President Toni PRECKWINKLE, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to work with this board, to work with your mayor, and of course your media director, and working to get the word out and try and make a difference in these communities, as we all are working together and suffering through the traumatic storm experiences that we're having. For those who don't know, Illinois, Midwest are now considered to be the tornado capital of the United States. Yep. The record is in Texas, which was 250. So far, we at around 220. What you experienced in your village was there was roughly about 2 tornadoes that touched down and about 4 or 5 in this general area. In other communities that received similar damage, in some cases more, which includes Flossmoor, Olympia Fields, Orland Park, Glenwood, Chicago Heights, and all the mayors are inundated with trees and debris and other things to remove. And so the president, she's been out here and she wanted to do her own observation. So we came without camera, without fanfare, just to walk and understand what the pain and that you are experiencing in your communities, to understand, to see it for herself. Although she was scheduled to be on vacation, but she canceled that because she wanted to come out, be out here to see it for herself. And to listen to the mayor, and he took us to some of the worst streets. One street we were on, the young lady, the mother whose husband is on stage 4 cancer, and she said, this once was a garage in a house. There was nothing left there. And she didn't know what to do. And she said, I can't take no more. And these are some of the pains and sufferings that we are experiencing around Cook County at this time. On our side, we trying to do all we can to both help. So the president has issued an emergency order that we have sent out. The president, with foresight, they put together what was called a disaster recovery fund, $110 million. But it was a one-time allotment. But as you see, we're having storms at a frequent level that it is beyond reason, but it is occurring. So having done that, both the director of our EMRS, Emergency Services, as well as with our finance director, have to make a determination of how much money they're gonna make available to municipalities and perhaps even residents in order to help alleviate some of the costs on some level for recovery of these communities. We also, as a consequence of the efforts of your mayor, we were able to get other state officials out and we got them involved. And so they were able to get their dump trucks out, we were able to get additional mutual aid from other parts of the state. Through the president's calls, we were able to get more help from, I guess it would be our cable companies, our gas companies. So there are over 400 different crews that are restoring lights and gas to our residents. And we were so successful that based on mutual aid, that a lot of the workers who are here in Illinois have gone over to our neighbors in Indiana to assist them in their recovery. Because the same storm affected both communities on the same street. Just that we were able to, get ours addressed more quickly, and then we were able to send over mutual aid to Hammond and to other East Chicago to assist them. We have these municipalities to track what their expenses are, and then we are putting together a master plan of how much we will be able to help municipalities to alleviate some of the costs. We realize that we cannot address it all, but it's our way to try and address some, with the understanding that if we spend all the money today, we won't have money for the next storm that we anticipate, as we just said, likely will come. Some of the consequences that we see is man-made, as you know, from global warming and other things. And the other man-made thing that we can do is mutual aid to one another. And that we're doing by working together. Other municipalities around the county are working together. Our EMRS is working 24/7. We opened up Oak Forest Hospital so that we can help remove debris from your community and other communities that have too much within their own areas to move it there. And then our Department of Transportation. So all of our departments are 24/7 hands-on in terms of helping to move. And of course, I'm on speed dial with your mayor and all the 131 mayors to help them in terms of myself, because that's my role. If there's an emergency, there I am. And then so are all of our various community residents. Now, to the extent that the state declares an emergency, and if we're lucky and we get this president to offer mutual aid to Illinois, because the president authorized emergency funding for Indiana, even without a declaration. But he has yet to authorize funding for Illinois from 2025 storms. He's denied that request, and we don't know what he would do relative to this storm. And of course, mutual aid, well, I am on company time, so that's as far as I can go, that commentary. But I can only say that we are here for you. We'll see what the state then decides. As we toured around, we had senators and state reps, and they're going back to Springfield to see what exactly can they do in the veto session in terms of being able to help both communities, municipalities, and perhaps even residents in terms of giving direct aid to them. Of course, neither one of us has enough to respond to everyone's every need, but we are here to try and help as best we can. Most importantly though, we have a QR code and a survey that we're asking all residents to complete, because to qualify for a certain level of funding from the state level, you have to document so much funding, so much damage within a geographical area. And so we're asking every resident, we're gonna send it back out for this storm. We did it as disaster relief declaration for the last storm, we're doing one for this storm, which we perhaps have shared it with the trustees here tonight. And you can of course get it on the Cook County website. And that also is where you'll be able to get the QR code so you can complete the survey. It's not that you gotta document every penny, you gotta prove up everything. It's important to put on there if you can, the damage you received and to share it with your neighbors. Because we gotta reach a certain dollar level in order to qualify for a benchmark at the state level. It was perhaps slightly more, but you caught me off guard when I walked in. But again, my pleasure. My number is 313-434-38.
Al, thank you for being here, I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
No questions?
Well, does anybody have any questions for Al? I'll open that up real quick.
Great.
Nope. Thank you, sir, I appreciate it. Tell Madam President we appreciate it.
Oh, without question.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go into the rest of the mayor's report here. I want to give an update on the storms that we have experienced here in July 27th and August 11th. Over the past few weeks, Lansing and communities throughout the south suburbs have been hit incredibly hard with severe weather. Our residents have dealt with power outages, fallen trees, property damage, and significant disruption to their everyday lives. Right now, our priority is getting power restored and getting Lansing back to normal. We are looking to identify residents who are still without power, where they are located, and what assistance they may need. We want to make sure we reach each person to help and to help them the most. Our public works crews and village departments have been working around the clock since these storms hit. I want to recognize our department heads and employees and how quickly they responded and how hard they continue to work for our residents. We have also had tremendous cooperation from our partners, including Illinois Department of Transportation and neighboring communities, such as South Holland, Calumet City. This recovery has truly been a team effort. Our immediate work continues to include clearing streets, addressing dangerous conditions, and getting trees off of homes. As we get through this immediate need, we will move into our next phase, our recovery, removing damaged trees and repairing sidewalks and other areas damaged by the storm. We have made significant progress, but our work is not finished. We're going to continue to work until our community is cleaned up, our residents are taken care of, and Lansing is back to normal. As of around 4:30 this evening, I got word that the state of Illinois has issued a disaster proclamation for Cook County for our July 27th and August 11th storms. So that's great that the governor did that. And as Al said, now it goes to the federal government, and we can only hope that we can get some federal aid from FEMA. As he said, the same storm that hit us hit Munster, Indiana. So I can only hope that the president gives us some help, because we certainly need it. But again, round of applause to our employees for the I can't thank you guys enough. Your hard work, picking up, the pieces. When I was out there, I was like, where do you start? And where do you start? You start. And that's what all our department heads, all our employees did. They rolled up their sleeves, they dug in, and I'm so proud of them. From what happened, the first tornado, and how that got so cleaned up so quickly, and this one here, and this one was so widespread. I'm talking it was almost from the north end to the south end, from 394 to state line. It didn't matter what street you went down, there was damage, destruction. And right now, I'm so impressed and proud to be the mayor of Lansing, to stand here to tell you what a great job all our departments have done. So again, hats off. As I move forward, I have two proclamations that I would like to read. Proclamation of disaster. Whereas on July 27th, 2026, the village of Lansing experienced an EF1 tornado that impacted our community, causing severe damage to homes, disrupting the daily lives of many residents. And whereas despite the challenges brought by these severe weather events, the residents of Lansing demonstrated extraordinary resilience, compassion, and determination in supporting one another throughout the recovery process. And whereas the village of Lansing extends its deepest gratitude to the Lansing Police Department, Lansing Fire Department, Lansing Public Works Department, Lansing Building Department, all village of Lansing staff, emergency management personnel, utility crews, neighboring municipalities, Cook County, and President Toni PRECKWINKLE, the state of Illinois, and Senator L.G. Sims, volunteers, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and countless residents whose swift response helped protect lives, restore essential services, and provide assistance to those affected. And whereas acts of kindness and generosity and neighborly support amplify the spirit that defies the village of Lansing, reminding us all of our greatest strength is found in unity. And whereas although this will be a prolonged restoration event, the village of Lansing remains committed to assisting residents as recovery efforts continue and to strengthen our preparedness and future emergencies. And whereas we remain Lansing strong. Now therefore, I, Brian Hardy, Mayor of the Village of Lansing, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the entire Lansing community, do hereby recognize the courage, dedication, and perseverance displayed by all those affected by the recent storm of the EF1 tornado. I encourage all residents to continue supporting one another as we rebuild, recover, and move forward together, as these events serve as a lasting reminder that even in the face of adversity, the village of Lansing stands united, resilient, and stronger than ever. Mayor Brian P. Hardy. Proclamation of disaster. Whereas on August 11, 2026, the village of Lansing experienced severe storms that resulted in destructive winds, widespread power outages, downed trees and power lines, blocked roadways and damage to homes, businesses, business property, and infrastructure. And whereas this storm struck just weeks after the July 27, 2026 EF1 tornado impacting a community still actively recovering and placing additional strain on our residents, village personnel, infrastructure, and resources. And whereas despite this extraordinary circumstances, village employees, first responders, emergency management personnel, utility crews, partner agencies, community organizations immediately mobilized to protect residents, clear roadways, assist damage, restore essential services, and provide assistance throughout Lansing. And whereas the village of Lansing extends its deepest gratitude to our first responders, village staff, emergency management personnel, utility crews, neighboring municipalities, partner agencies, volunteers, businesses, organizations, and residents working together to protect and support our community. And whereas Lansing residents have once again demonstrated extraordinary resilience, compassion, and neighborly support in the face of adversity. And whereas recovery and power restoration efforts remain ongoing, and the village of Lansing remains committed to assisting residents and utilizing all available resources throughout the recovery process. And whereas through these continued challenges, we remain united, resilient, and Lansing strong. Now therefore, I, Brian Hardy, Mayor of the Village of Lansing, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the entire Lansing community, do hereby proclaim a disaster within the village of Lansing as a result of the severe storms on August 11, 2026. I encourage all residents to continue supporting one another as we recover and move forward together. Brian Hardy, Mayor of Lansing. But I gotta give one more round of applause. You guys know, we're gonna get through this, all right? And there might be another one, but we're gonna get through this. Al?
I just wanted to let you know before I leave, the state just passed a disaster declaration.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Thanks, Al. Still under the mayor's report, I would like to bring up our chief of police, Al Phillips. There's a lot of people to be recognized here tonight. Proud to see this happening, sir. The floor is yours, chief.
Very good, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Village officials, department heads, thank you all for being here tonight. Big night for us tonight. I'm gonna let these guys clear out because we got a big show for you. All right, first thing on the agenda tonight was to recognize the retirement of Deputy Chief Scott Bailey. As you can see, Scott is not here. Unfortunately, he had a family emergency. The reason Scott chose to retire when he did, he knew his parents were starting to age a little bit, and he wanted to be there for him. So, in true fashion, like Scott Bailey, he got the phone call, dropped everything, drove down to Southern Illinois to take care of his dad. So, his dad's doing well, things are going well, so I just wanted to report that. So, we did have a private ceremony for Scott. We recognized him. It was a great turnout by everybody. Scott served with us for 28 years. Him and I got hired together. We worked in every position together. We both raised our children together. They grew up together, so played a lot of golf together. So it hurts to see him leave, but very, very happy to see him retire. So, but it's time to move on. So tonight we get to promote a new deputy chief. So Steve Winkler, come on up. Where is Shamila at? She goes. She hiding there. She is. All right, as Steve's waking his way up here. Steve has been with the department for 19 years. All right, he's been in many different positions, including patrol, DEA task force. We're still getting money coming in from that, right? So we'll be happy to hear that. So from all the cases that you work, so I want you to come stand up here with us. Steve is also big into health and fitness, as you can see. So we kind of have him in charge of our overall well-being of our department. It's really important. It's a little stressful job. You know, you're deprived of sleep. You're working long hours. So it's important that you take care of your body, and Steve is really in charge of that, and he's really taking that to heart, so we want you guys to really recognize that we're here for you. Steve's here for you, and Steve's going to do a great job as the next deputy chief. So, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go ahead and get on with this. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Steve Winkler,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Deputy Chief
of the office of Deputy Chief
for the Village of Lansing
for the Village of Lansing,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. You practice it. Steve has 2 young children that are here. Just got a new baby.
5 week old.
5 week old. There you go. Steve, the floor is yours.
I just want to say thank you to the mayor, police chief Al Phillips, and the rest of the village administration for this opportunity, and I look forward to serving the community. God is good.
Yes.
That's all I have to say.
So as you see, Mike Heineck is up there, Deputy Chief. He has taken over Scott's role, so he's going to be in charge of field operations. And then Steve is going to move into support operations. So Steve, we're excited and get a lot of good things ahead of you. So, all right, next up, Tim, come on up.
What are you doing?
Tim Tim Harvey and Andrea, come on up. Tim has been with the police department for 21 years. I got to supervise him when he was a detective. He was in Major Crimes Task Force, patrol sergeant, and honestly, he's been working the last year or so by himself without his lieutenant, so he's really been filling both roles. The lieutenant's got a big role in our PD. You know, they try to blend upper management with the line. You know, the guy that trying to guides their sergeant to make sure that everything is done right in our village. When we're not here, the buck stops there. Everything that goes on has got to be approved through the lieutenant. When everybody goes home at the end of the night, the lieutenant's in charge. Everything that happens throughout this village goes through the lieutenant. So are you ready for all that?
I am.
Seems kind of scary. The other role that you played was a field training officer and a coordinator of that. To be honest with you, you're playing the two biggest roles so far, the sergeant and FTO. To be the coordinator of that, that's how you mold all the people that are in that patrol back there. So thank you for all that you've done for that. All right, you ready to get this done?
I am.
All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Timothy Harvey,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Police Lieutenant
of the office of Police Lieutenant
for the Village of Lansing
for the Village of Lansing,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. All right, his wife Andrea, and Tim also has two young children that are here, so a young department coming up. Hi, guys. All right. Tim has elected to not say a word, but I'm going to force him to anyhow. So.
I just thank everyone for this opportunity. It's been wonderful working here for the next couple weeks, 21 years, and look forward to what the future holds.
Excellent.
Thank you again.
Great job. All right, Keith, come on up. Sarah's coming up, his wife. And I believe you also have two young children, too. That's awesome. All right, Keith has been with our department 11 years now. All right, Keith has served as a patrol officer. He went into the detective bureau, kind of kicking and screaming, didn't want to go in there. But I think that was important for him to get in there and kind of see what we can do as a PD. It kind of opened his eyes. What's really important out there is it happens in the detective bureau. That's where we take care of our people, take care of our victims, and he got to see the broader, bigger picture of it. So Keith, I'm glad you went in there, proud of you for doing that, and it's going to make you a better sergeant overall. All right, like I talked about, sergeant's position, toughest role out there. You got to bridge the gap between upper management and the guys. You got to be buddies with the guys, but you can't be buddies with the guys, right? You got to carry out our orders even if you don't like them, right? But we usually give you a say-so on what goes on. But most importantly, you got to be out there with every one of these officers because they're looking to you for your leadership, for your support, for your guidance. You got to be there for them in every aspect of the way. Personal, private, whatever's going on with work, you got to be there for them. We have high standards. We expect you to hold up to those high standards, and I know you will. So, all right, you ready for this?
Sure.
Get this over with. All right, repeat after me. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Keith Hahn,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Police Sergeant
of the office of Police Sergeant
for the Village of Lansing
for the Village of Lansing
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. All right, so one more thing. So this is a great opportunity for us to show how the progression works. When we have a retirement of somebody up top, deputy chief, we got to promote a lieutenant, a sergeant, and now a new officer. Victor, come on up. Victor, come on over by me. I'm going to let you hold on to this by saying a few words. There you go. Before I swear you in. All right. You nervous?
Yeah, a little bit.
Victor's 22 years old. Both my kids are older than him. That's weird. So you don't have anything to worry about, okay? I know it's overwhelming right now, but we're gonna send you to the academy. You take off next week. Go to County Police Academy. They're gonna train you for 16 weeks. They're gonna teach you about criminal law, traffic law. They're gonna teach you how to handle domestics. They're gonna teach you all kinds of great things. Staying in physical shape and being ready to go out there and handle whatever comes your way. But once you're done there, it's not over. You got 16 weeks where you're gonna train with a field training officer. 3 different field training officers out there you're gonna be working with, all right? But even then, once you're done with them, once you're on your own, you're never on your own. We support you here, all right? You're gonna have all those officers in the back. They've all got your back. All right, you're always gonna have a supervisor working with you. We have your back, always. We'll always have your back. Trustees have your back. Most importantly, the mayor has your back, all right? We have a great administration. That's because we've earned it. We've worked hard to earn that respect from our community, from our administration, and we're gonna keep working hard on that. Things that we need, they're able to get for us because all the goodwill that we do in our community. We're about our community. We take care of our community, all right? Community policing, we're there for them. Your job is to protect and serve, okay? Those are the number 1 and 2 things that you do. If you're out there, you're a protector, all right? You signed up for this job because you wanted to help people. That's what we're gonna do. All right, not every day is like an episode of Cops. You know, we're not chasing bad guys all day long. There are days that it feels like it. Guys in the back will tell you that for sure. All right, but your number 1 priority is to take care of these people, okay? Take care of our citizens. And then, what's our number 1 rule, guys?
Everybody goes home.
Everybody goes home at the end of our shift, okay? You owe it to your family, you owe it to everybody around here, okay? So, you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
All right, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Victor Blaze,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of police officer
of the office of police officer
for the village of Lansing
for the village of Lansing,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Victor has prepared a 10-minute speech.
Victor, cut short it
Keep
up.
it short, okay? Great job.
All right, I know we got a lot going on tonight. I wanted to thank all of you for being out here, the Fire and Police Commission for helping us get all this done, the mayor for his support, every one of you for being here. But before I let everybody go, Trustee Zeldermus likes to say a few words, and I always cut him short and kick him out, so go ahead.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. As the village board member who represents the police department and public works for the village and the business that we transact up here, I just want to take a second to say congratulations to those that are being promoted tonight and hired. I kind of feel like a proud parent. I retired from the police department here after 30 years in '08, and I worked with these gentlemen. In fact, I was working when they were hired, and I can tell you from the administrative point of view of a police department, when you hire young officers, we don't know them, usually. But I've had the added pleasure of knowing these gentlemen from our Christian school community and our church community. And when they came to apply for the police department, the question comes, to everyone's mind, how are they gonna do? Are they made of the right stuff to function well, to be open-minded to meeting all the needs of our community, not just the family that they grew up in? And what you see before them tonight is the answer to that question. They have striven for excellence. They have done the job well. They have worked their way through the department in specialty positions that are appointed to them because of the good work that they do. And to see rookie officers that I worked with come through the ranks and come to the position of lieutenant and sergeant, and even our new officer, you ask, how could he possibly be old enough to be the police? My rookie picture makes him look a lot older than he is. Yeah, it was surprising that they gave a gun and a squad car to a guy that looks like the guy that was on my rookie picture. It was surprising. So, congratulations to you all. I feel like a proud parent. You guys came through the ranks, you did well. You are now executive level in the police department, recognized for your leadership, and I know that you will do well. And it's important to celebrate these milestones because they are a big deal. And you'll look back at them and say, that was the day, I was permanent lieutenant or sergeant or deputy chief. Steve, I disappeared in the crowd. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Jerry, what number were you?
I was star number 243.
243. Victor, do you know your star? 439. 439. I have sworn in 56 officers in the 5 years that I've been chief here.
Yeah.
There's 128 officers in between him and me. Not all of them have stuck around, but making me feel old.
Right. Well, I'm proud of our chief, our deputy chief, worked very closely with Scott Bailey through the years, and just admire him because not only is the caliber of officers and the standards that we set high, and we continue to meet those standards, but just a word for Scott. Scott kept his heart in the job through his entire career. And if it looks like we might get choked up a little bit talking about Scott, it's because he cared enough and never became cynical, no matter how bad things looked or how frustrated you might get on the job. He kept his heart in it, kept his heart out there for the officers. They recognized that, and they were the benefit of that. And so Scott can't even talk about retirement without being in tears, and that's good because that shows his heart.
Yep.
And just congratulations again. We got a long agenda, but thank you all, the family, for coming and enjoying this moment with us. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we're gonna get back to some business here. So I'm gonna go right into our village administrator's report, Mr. Podgorski.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing in this meeting.
Thank you. Village attorney's report, Mr. Walsh.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, sir. We're right into finance and HRC, trustee Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to pay our bills and total payroll for the periods in July 20th through August 14th, 2026, in the amount of $1,609,134.02, and for total accounts payable, $2,003,052,728.43.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on total payroll, $1,609,134.02, along with total accounts payable for $2,352,728.43. Any questions or discussion by the trustees? Not, I'll need a motion to accept.
Trustee Smith. Aye. Trustee Lamont.
Aye.
Trustee Zelderus.
Aye.
Trustee Nelson. Trustee Abasi.
Aye.
Thank you.
And Mayor, I'd like to move to our monthly reports. So I'm giving it to our finance director. Oh, there it is. Director Hannigan, are you prepared to do the finance report?
I sure am.
Thank you.
Preliminary review of the village's first quarter suggests a somewhat solid but unspectacular operating results for the first quarter. Property tax receipts continue to be delayed by Cook County as they were a year ago. However, sales taxes, which is the lifeblood of the village and the economic development that residents can see along Torrance and Bernice Road, continue to be relatively strong as compared to where they were in fiscal year 24. Flat revenues at this point in the year are a hopeful sign that the village will continue to have a strong fiscal year against the recently approved budget last month. Obviously, the storms and some of the issues that the village has been experiencing through all the devastation to property will be tallied up and may affect some of the work that was included in the budget approved in July. Our long-term planning for streets, water mains, alleys, sidewalks, utilities have all been included in this budget that was approved by the village board. But over the coming months, some of the planned projects may have to be delayed as we tally up the bills and the costs from the work that had to be done by the village staff and some outside contractors. We'll quantify that as we go into the next coming months. A detailed review of the first quarter will be at the September meeting. We still have to deal with some of the issues related to Cook County's delay in property taxes, as I just mentioned, and the state of Illinois did some changes in how they send the village its share of our, what's called the local government distributive share. That's been cleaned up with the state of Illinois, but did affect the first quarter. We will have a presentation on the water and sewer fund later in this meeting. It'll be in the committee of the whole. The village has a water supply agreement that it's had for the last 20 years with the city of Hammond. Mayor Hardy, Administrator Podgorski, and I combined to meet with the city of Hammond to renew that agreement. And that'll be presented, as I said, in the committee of the whole. On the insurance side, changes in the village's employee medical plan has had some positive impact. As the public and the village board knows, we made some changes primarily to retirees. We're running about 98% of the budget for the first 3 months of the year, so that's good news. And the other two insurance reserves, which I presented in other meetings on workers' comp and on general liability, continue to be in line with budget. Although we need to keep an eye on our general liability because we have had some, as the public and the board knows, some significant property damage during the last quarter. That completes my report, Trustee Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Director. For HRC, I don't have much of a report, but I did want to announce a free community event that's being held this weekend on Saturday the 22nd in collaboration with Southland Communities at South Suburban College. It starts at 11 a.m. as while supplies last. They'll be handing out household items that people may have lost during the severe weather and flooding. There'll be laundry detergent, bath towels, washcloths, toiletries, linens, bottled water, burner units, protein drinks, snacks, and much more. You have two options. You can drive up or walk up to pick up. The sponsors for this event is Big Brothers and Big Sisters and Give in Kind, which is a non-profit. South Suburban College address is 15800 South State Street, South Holland, Illinois, at the Recycle Center. If you're interested, spend your morning Saturday getting some items. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee. Your report of insurance, Trustee Smith for Trustee Valencia, please.
Okay, thank you again. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 1569, authorizing and approving proposal from OCS as General Contractors Incorporated for roof repairs to the Quonset building at the Lansing Municipal Airport.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on resolution 1569, authorizing and approving a proposal from OCS General Contractors, Inc. for roof repairs to the Quonset building at the Lansing Municipal Airport. Are there any questions or discussions by the trustees? If not, clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Smith? Aye. Trustee Lamont?
Aye.
Trustee Zilberman?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson? Aye. Trustee Rossi?
Aye.
Okay, next I'll roll into our airport report with our airport manager, Tom Horst.
Thank you, trustee. On July 15th, Munster Park District Summer Camp visited the airport. There were 10 boys between the ages of 4 and 6 years old with 10 adults. The boys were happy to see the planes and helicopters up close, and the adults asked many questions. The field trip was a success. On July 23rd, airport staff and Crawford Murphy and Tilly engineers had a regular monthly meeting. The main topic was Project IGQ 5243, Rehabilitate Runway 927. CMT engineers gave an update on the progress of the project and continued to prepare documents to move forward with the runway rehabilitation. Also discussed was the Quonset Hut Hangar Door Project number IGQ 5199. We are still waiting for the final order to proceed, which has been dependent on the FAA's Buy American approval for the steel components. Maintenance issues. On July 8th, Action Fire Equipment Company inspected and serviced all the fire extinguishers at the airport. Compliance reports were issued. On July 8th and 9th, Mr. Gene Gottlieb, airport electrician, repaired and rewired the high mast lights inside the airport along Glenwood Lansing Road. On July 10th, Cook County maintenance staff cut the ditch along Glenwood Lansing Road. And Jeff Morton from Lincoln Lansing also helped organize this, and they did a great job. On July 27th, an EF1 tornado whipped through the village of Lansing. Unbelievably, the only damage to the airport was the beacon light. Mr. Gene Gottlieb was able to assess the damage and make the necessary repairs. Our thoughts and prayers are still with the residents that sustained horrific damage. That's all I have tonight, trustee. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, trustee. We're going to move on to fire and economic development. Trustee Abbasi.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we would adopt ordinance number 26-032, supporting a Class 8 real estate tax assessment classification application by Water Advanced Treatment and Environmental Resources LLC for the property located at 16770 Chicago Avenue.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on ordinance number 26-032, supporting a Class 8 real estate tax assessment classification application by Water Advanced Treatment and Environmental Resources LLC for the property located at 16770 Chicago Avenue. Are there any questions or discussions by the trustees? If not, clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Abbasi?
Aye.
Trustee Zilberman?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson? Aye. Trustee Smith?
Aye.
Trustee Lamont?
Thank you. I'd like to move on and turn things over to our fire chief, Chief Coinga, for his July report.
Thank you, Trustee Abbasi. Just briefly, I'll touch on some of the run numbers from the department of July. I was going to impress everybody and say July was our highest call volume to date, given that we had the tornado touchdown in Oakwood Estates towards the end of July. That gave us a total of 610 calls. Again, EMS though continues to be the driver volume in the fire department, with our ambulances seeing the most wear and tear out of the fleet. However, again, given kind of the unfortunate tornado activity towards the end of the month, a lot of we saw increased call volume for our engine and truck as well. Just briefly touching on kind of what occurred in the department training-wise, the training division of the fire department completed multiple walkthroughs of buildings under construction or remodel around the village. Again, we were able to firsthand witness the progress at True Hotel as well as Sky Zone. We also finished our yearly hazardous material training practical scenarios, where we covered decontamination and product recognition. We also did a little bit of vehicle extrication as well. Out of the Fire Prevention Bureau, conduct community risk reduction. We've completed 67 fire inspections. We also conducted 2 child safety seat installations. We also held a class for steps to safety that's provided through the NFPA, which is a presentation geared towards our older adults in the community, which kind of just, again, teaches safety in the home. And then we also did some pre-incident planning and training, again, at the Sky Zone. We also attended a block party on Mayor Hardy's block. We went to the American Legion Riders ride and worked as their escort. We also did an honor flight escort for our local veterans. And we just participated in School District 158 and Lark's summer picnics. That's all I have.
Thanks, Chief. I don't want to miss an opportunity to just acknowledge the fire department. You know, when I drove out to Oakwood Estates the day of that tornado, you know, you talk about all the trainings every month and you share about it and all of that. You saw it in action when that tornado happened. Your department was out there. They looked like they belonged. They weren't intimidated by the moment. They stepped up under your leadership and Deputy Chief Grady. It was like you had done it over and over and over again, and it's remarkable because you haven't. And so I'm just so grateful for our fire department and your leadership and preparing those guys for whatever might come their way, along with all of our departments, police and public works, but specifically because I'm overseeing this committee. I just want to acknowledge the work that you're doing, and a thank you to all your entire department for the way you've stepped up during these storms.
Thank you. Again, I will pass on that thanks to the men and women of the department as well. And again, it's just a testament to kind of the continued reinvestment in the department through the village on kind of keeping us at the forefront of kind of training for these emergencies. It was, as the chief, you know, it's pretty cool to see when, you know, the rubber meets the road, that we were able to kind of rise to the occasion and mitigate what we had to mitigate in the way we did. So again, it's a true testament to the men and women you guys, the Fire Police Commission have hired, and just continually pouring and reinvesting in us. So thank you as well.
Absolutely. Good job, Chief. I'd like to move on and ask our administrator, Mr. Podgorski, to discuss our economic development for July.
Thank you, Trustee. Just a few updates here this evening. A couple items that we'll be talking about a little bit later tonight. We've been monitoring some possible redevelopment opportunities that would mesh with a potential redesignation of a portion of the old Lansing TIF district, which could result in a new TIF designation. It's likely going to be a project for the proposal, and we'll hear some more on that later this evening. We're also working with property owners at 19530 Green Bay, just south of Glenwood Lansing Road, on a phase 2 environmental. This is the site of a petition for a special use that we're going to hear from again later this evening in the C.O.W. We're continuing to work with Walmart on a Class 8 renewal. We're likely going to have them here in September. Their renewal is up for, or their incentive is up for renewal, and then also continuing to work with Napleton on their phase 2 and phase 3 engineering for the Kia dealership, as well as finalizing their redevelopment agreement. So hope to have, I don't know if that'll make the next meeting, but hopefully we'll have one shortly after that. That's it.
Thank you, Administrator. Mayor, no further items. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee. We're going to move on to Police and Public Works. Trustee Zeldin Russ.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I jump into my list of ordinances and resolutions to present tonight, I just want to acknowledge that as we recognize our first responders and public works in meeting the immediate needs of a disaster in our village, what often goes unsung is the work that continues at our village hall, our municipal center. Nothing that I'm about to present would be ready to present without the hard work of our staff at Village Hall, specifically our administrator, Dan Podgorski. It's been truly a privilege to work with Dan these many years as a trustee, and had the added trial of saying goodbye to his father this past week. And although we extend our condolences at the funeral, Dan, just know as a village that even in the midst of a disaster, even while meeting with the governor, even while balancing the requirements day to day to prepare us for a village board meeting like we are tonight, with the added stress and trials that come with saying goodbye to a loved one. It's a true show of dedication that Dan has to this village. And I think, as I reflect on my years, I'm in my last year here, and as a trustee, and it'll be pretty clear that it'll be one of the highlights is working with you guys. And seeing how you do this job and your dedication. We talked before about seeing your burn can at both ends, but this week has been one for the books, and yet you prepared us to have this meeting. All right, so here we go. First up, I make a motion that we approve ordinance 26-0033 that authorizes a successor collective bargaining agreement by and between the Village of Lansing and the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 150, Public Works Division.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on ordinance number 26-033, authorizing a successor collective bargaining agreement by and between the Village of Lansing and the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 150, Public Works Division. Any questions or discussion by the trustees? Not, clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Zeldin.
Aye.
Trustee Abasi.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson. Recused. Trustee Smith. Aye. Trustee Lamont.
Aye.
Thank you. Next, I make a motion that we approve resolution 1570, authorizing and approving a proposal from Juniper Office for furniture for the Public Works Administration and Emergency Operations Center.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on resolution 1570, authorizing and approving a proposal from Juniper Office for furniture for the Public Works Administration Emergency Operations Center. Are there any questions or discussions? If not, clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Zeldin.
Aye.
Trustee Abasi.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson. Aye. Trustee Smith. Aye. Trustee Lamont.
Aye. Thank you. Move that we pass resolution 1571, authorizing and approving the execution of agreements between the village and school districts 158, 215, and 171 for crossing guard services.
Second.
We have a resolution 1571, authorizing and approving the execution of an agreement between the village and school district 158, 215, and 171 for crossing guard services. Any questions or discussions? Not, clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Zeldin.
Aye.
Trustee Abasi.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson. Aye. Trustee Smith. Aye. Trustee Lamont.
Aye. Next, I move that we award bid for Paxton Avenue Pond Maintenance Stage 1 vegetation removal to Homer Tree Service in the amount of $134,100.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to award bid for Paxton Avenue Pond Maintenance Stage 1 vegetation removal to Homer Tree Service in the amount of $134,100. Any questions or discussions? Not, clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Zeldin.
Aye.
Trustee Abasi.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson. Aye. Trustee Smith. Aye. Trustee Lamont.
Aye. Further, move that we award bid for installation of sanitary lift station pumps at Henry Court and Forest Court to Gaskill and Walton Construction Company in the amount of $94,600.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to award bid for installation of the sanitary lift station pumps at Henry Court and Forest Court to Gaskill and Walton Construction Company in the amount of $94,600. Any questions or discussions? Not, clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Zeldin.
Aye.
Trustee Abasi.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson. Aye. Trustee Smith. Aye. Trustee Lamont.
Aye. Next, I move that we award bid for 2025 Community Development Block Grant Street Resurfacing Project to D Construction Incorporated in the amount of $910,132.65.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to award bid for the 2025 Community Development Block Grant Street Resurfacing Project to D Construction, Inc. in the amount of $910,132.65. $132.65. Any questions or discussions by the trustees? If not, clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Salazar.
Aye.
Trustee Abasi.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson.
Aye.
Trustee Smith. Aye. Trustee O'Connor.
Aye.
Thank you. I'll ask Chief Phillips if he wants to hit some highlights from the Lansing Police Department monthly report for July.
Certainly, trustee, thank you, and I will try and keep it short since I've kind of monopolized some time already tonight. The 911 center handled over 7,000 calls, and 4,100 of them were for police service. Training continues to be a priority here at the PD, including Christopher Root, who completed a 7-week FTO. He was a lateral from Moments Police Department, so he's fitting in very well. As far as activity, the officers did 850 traffic stops in the month with over 1,000 citations issued. They completed 213 community policing contacts, 975 premise checks, and made 90 arrests throughout the month. LPD attended block parties, cruise nights, Fox Point concerts and farmers markets, and the American Legion service ride, and they also assisted with honor flights. LPD held another neighborhood watch meeting on July 23rd. This was an opportunity to introduce Sergeant Mike Lindenmulder to his new role as community policing sergeant. He has been with the department for almost 20 years and has served as detective and patrol sergeant. He went over the crime stats and introduced our newest officer, which was Christopher Root. As you can see with tonight's activities, one retirement can spark quite the change around here. With Deputy Chief Scott Bailey's retirement, we promoted Steve Winkler to Deputy Chief, Tim Harvey to Lieutenant, Keith Hahn to Sergeant, and we hired Victor Villegas. These are only a few of the changes. Sergeant Tagenhorst moved into the Criminal Investigations Division, will be the new tax sergeant, and Sergeant Lindenmulder moved to Community Policing Sergeant. Along with that, we also have to pick a new detective to fill Keith's role in the CID division. So a lot going on here around in the PD, and it is nice to show that, you know, that the transition from top to bottom around here, we're just very fortunate to have support of our administration that allow us to do that, and that's what makes us successful. So we're very happy to be able to showcase that in front of the board tonight. So thank you, trustee.
Yeah, thank you, Chief. Always gratifying to know that we have a deep bench to go to and many qualified individuals to step up to fill those roles. Keep up the good work. Moving on, I'll turn things over to Superintendent O'Neill for the monthly Public Works report.
Thank you very much, trustee. Public Works Department, as far as moving forward with our in-house initiative to strengthen our department for training. A couple of the machines in which we're focused on right now are our heavy loader operations. It seems kind of unique that we have this agenda, but we focus on our unique operations with heavy loaders, backhoe operations, street sweepers, skid steer training, boom training as far as for our staff. These are the machines as far as we're using quite often in the last couple of weeks. Everyone's seeing what we're doing as far as out in the public today. Our training initiatives as far as kind of help us, our staff meet that challenge. I do want to take a moment as far as to recognize 2 of our staff members as far as that are here today, Matt Nomerson and also Steve Zalewski. These are the gentlemen that actually help keep the lights on as far as in our village. I do want to recognize them today, so I want to give a round of applause. With that said, as far as goes, again, these training programs are designed in order to help meet the needs as far as the village. They're designed as far as in order to help reduce reliance as far as on outside contractors. They're designed in order to help meet the needs of our residents as far as, and clearly within the last couple of weeks, I think our staff is going above and as far as beyond to do that. That's my report for today. Thank you very much, trustee.
Thank you very much, Mr. O'Neill. Mayor, that concludes my part of this meeting.
Thank you, trustee. Trustee, I would like to say thank you for recognizing Mr. Podgorski, and I wanted to say that, first of all, the entire village has sent out their condolences to the Podgorski family. And I will say that exactly what Jerry said. Dan has been very committed, you know, to this village, and I enjoyed working with him under, you know, this, I would call it new administration, me being the mayor. But I just want to recognize that Dan's father's wake was Friday and his funeral was Saturday. And Dan spent time, of course, with his family, which is so important at those times. But he came into the village hall late Saturday evening, worked on these agendas, and came back Sunday morning and then worked through Sunday. How do I know that? Because I saw him in there. And, but I'm just saying, Dan is very committed to his role as a village administrator. I count on him to help me through the day-to-day stuff. He lets me be the mayor, I let him do the administrator stuff, and we work well together on that. But again, our condolences go out to the Blackworski family, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Moving on with that, to building and IT and L&N and marketing, trustee Lamont.
Thank you, Mayor. We have our 3 monthly reports. We're going to start with the building department. The commissioners are on.
Thank you, trustee Lamont. The building department issued 198 permits reflecting $3,016,187.34 invested back into our community. Our inspectors have performed 214 home inspections and 76 rental inspections. Our code enforcement officers issued 186 violation notices. These notices do not reflect the numerous conversations with our residents either by phone or in person to resolve issues and avoid notices being written. We have 5 new businesses in our village. Amenity LLC is at 3334 Ridge Road. It's a convenience store. Trim Spire Lux Lounge, located at 18241 West Street, Unit 207 and 209. This is Mind, Body, and Wellness Center. LOST Inc. is at 3043 Ridge Road, Unit 101. This is a child welfare agency. Caroline Coleman Foundation Inc. is located at 3523 Ridge Road. This is an office for career readiness for our youth. Rock Solid Construction is located at 18525 Torrance Avenue, Unit D8. This is a general contractor's office. That's all I have for tonight, trustee Lamont. Thank you.
Thank you, and I also want to thank your team, your commissioners for all the work they did as well. Saw them not only patrolling through the tornado, but also speaking with residents too, and just, comforting and being there for the community. So thank you once again for that.
Thank you, trustee Lamont.
We'll move to our second report, IT, Director Baker.
Thank you so much, trustee Lamont. As we look back on the last month, there's been a lot of changes. We're continuing to work as we prepare for the opening of our new public works facility as well as the emergency operations center, which the last month has proven the need for it. So it's been exciting, but also a bit interesting to kind of see as things kind of move forward. In the last month, basically, we've been ordering hardware that's necessary, including setting up the individual networks over there. There's multiple networks that have to be set up, including the switches, the racks, and so forth, as well as, since we've, in our last board meeting, passed the ordinance to get our cameras, as well as our access doors installed. We did order the access door equipment. It's gonna take roughly 4 to 5 weeks to get, so we kind of have to wait on some of that. But we're doing everything else until we can get that done. As well as we are just continually going in daily just to work on the different pieces that we can. The things that we can control, we are controlling. So thank you to my staff for kind of working through all of that. We are also working through the planning of the second half of the Fox Point season, working with L&N as well for the video wall functionality, all the different things that are affected over at Fox Point, including our POS system, point of sale system, and as well as the other hardware. So we continually test them and make sure things are working throughout. We are also working with the venues team in regards to the upcoming events at the Ford Hangar, which I'll let Ken talk about later. And then also we are working with staff on, ironically, on the new marquees that have been erected. So it's ironic because we just had the situation with our marquee at Village Hall today. So, but we are looking forward to continually working on training staff on how to utilize those and getting more messages throughout. So just one thing, it's been a slow go with all the destruction from obviously the wind and the tornadoes and so forth. That it lets you know that we live in a world where you have to back up a backup of backup. So we're pretty blessed because we're able to be somewhat functional at Village Hall even when we had no power with our generator for a little while. So, but we had our 2 different backup networks working so that we could actually function. So when people needed something they could actually reach us at Village Hall. So we're working also to continually work with our, we have an intern that's helping with digitizing blueprints throughout and older scans throughout the village. So the goal is always to try and get rid of as much paper as we can so we can digitize them, so we can email them, and people need to see things and get things in real time rather than looking through weathered materials. So that concludes the report for IT. I will move into the LNN report. This is from Neil Murphy, the stage manager over there. And LNN worked primarily with several upcoming as well as ongoing community events such as the Farmers Market. We had bands, bikes and brews, and coffee with the mayor. We've also worked with upcoming Aviation Day that will be going on in sometime in October. There's going to be several things that we're continually working on. So obviously LNN is kind of a marketing arm of the village. It continues to do that. So helping to promote different things as the administration and the various staff come about. We provided storm footage documenting the damage throughout the village, as well as we promoted, we're working also with a promotional video that's going to help highlight just to kind of all the things that LNN does, not only for our village, but also for businesses as well as people. So we have businesses that maybe need help with marketing and so forth. So we just wanted to kind of fine tune the pieces that we've had together. And so we're working with Neil has been redesigning our video to promote that as well. So that's essentially all the things that we want to discuss for this meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Fabian. I want to thank you, Dan, your team too, because as you mentioned, when a storm happens, you need to keep communication strong. So we had text messages and emails and phone calls going out to our residents, and that's important. And you need a strong IT infrastructure to be able to maintain that. So we thank you for the hard work that you and your team did as well. Finally, we have the last report to our communications director, Paige.
Thank you very much. This month I have been focused on promoting Fox Point concerts, farmers markets, and other village programs and community events. We've continued marketing and media coordination for the Ford Hangar Centennial Weekend, which Ken will touch on later, including event promotion, media opportunities, and aviation-related programming. Developed content and continued planning for the next issue of Looking at Lansing. I have maintained the Village and Fox Point website, social media platforms, and civic ready messaging, coordinated media requests, interviews, and coverage related to village events, initiatives, and storm response. Attended and supported community events, including the Lark Summer Cookout and the Sky Zone ribbon cutting. I have supported planning and promotion for National Night Out that happened that was August. And other upcoming village events, and assisted village departments with public notices, promotional materials, and resident communications. I have had a long ride with crisis communications since I have started here. So, getting nice.
Yes, thank you so much, Haley. We see you everywhere, and we enjoy you being part of the community, and thank you very much for all the hard work you're doing too. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee. We're going to move on to youth center and venue operations. Trustee Nomson.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing on the agenda tonight, so I will pass it to Tavion with the youth center report.
Thank you, trustee. I'd like to start by going over some of our summer highlights. In partnership with Angel of God Resource Center, the Youth Center provided summer employment opportunities to 3 youth camp counselors. Through grant funding, these teen workers were placed at the Youth Center where they gained valuable hands-on work experience while participating in workforce development, training, and mentorship. This marks our 6th consecutive year partnering with various organizations to create summer employment opportunities for local youth. Our summer camp continued to provide youth with a fun, engaging, and enriching experience. Activities included Family Feud, a culinary baking class, candle making, Men of Valor mentoring sessions, a Dollhouse Girls Club mentoring workshop, colors picnic at the Atlanta Junior Achievement Money Management workshops, and exciting field trips to Scene 75 and the newly opened Sky Zone in Lansing. These activities provided campers with opportunities to build relationships, develop life skills, explore new interests, and simply enjoy their summer. We have a special thank you to Cortland Stewart of Reliable Business Systems Ltd. for his generous support of the Youth Center. Mr. Stewart and his team donated and installed a new digital panel and rolling smart board, donated a projector for movie nights, and enhanced our game room by mounting our new televisions. We are incredibly grateful for their investment in our youth and our facility. I also like to extend a heartfelt thank you to Dahlia Stewart of Custom Basket Company for her beautiful donation basket to LARC's golf outing on behalf of the Patty Leach Youth Center. We greatly appreciate her generosity and continued support of our youth programs. We hope the $250 donation basket helped generate a wonderful contribution towards the cause. And for our new facility improvements, the Youth Center is excited to announce the completion of several major exterior improvements, including the installation of our new digital marquee, completed landscaping, and a newly paved parking lot. These enhancements have significantly improved the appearance, accessibility, and visibility of the Youth Center as we continue creating a welcoming environment for the youth and families we serve. And under professional development, Director Hardy attended July's monthly youth development check-in hosted by the After School Alliance, and we had a daily attendance average of 25 and a membership of 30. That will be the end of my report.
Thank you so much. Ken, now for the venues report.
Thank you, trustee. Well, I am going to give my Fox Point report with one of these over my head. Because this is pretty much how we spent our entire summer at Fox Point. So, for at least the Fox Point part, the Wednesday night concert series continued with performances from 4 different bands. Our attendance ranged from 750 to 1,500 for these 4 concerts. In addition to all the rain, the Northwest Indiana Symphony concert was moved inside to Memorial on July 17th due to the air quality index and the Canadian wildfires. So our thanks to District 158 for their help, and they've always been the backup site for us because we're required to have that. So we had about 350 guests that were in Memorial, no one that was turned away that wanted to see it, and the Symphony was a great partner in making that night still happen. Yes, we had another rain out in July. The Friday Night Lights concert, that should be July 31st, or not July 1st, I apologize for the typo, is now rescheduled for September 23rd. So we have an entire month, extra month of concerts now. The 9th, the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th of September are all makeup concerts, and you'll be seeing and hearing more about that. And then the Tuesday farmers markets continued in July. Our village events planner, Michelle Henderson, is continuing to monitor the attendance and feedback from our vendors and our guests during this first year of the series. So, Mother Nature, I'm appealing to you. Leave us alone. On the sports complex end of things, the sports complex hosted the Little League District 6 tournament on Saturday, July 11th and Monday, July 13th. Congratulations to the Lansing Little League 12 and under team for winning the tournament, managed by one of those trustees behind me. District trustee sounded awesome, and they advanced to the state tournament. Now, you guys may have lauded Administrator Podgorski for his work, but a special thanks to Mikowski's Real Sausage for donating hot dogs and sausage for the tournament. And it was a huge hit, and the old dude, I forget what his name was, doing the grilling was on top of his game. So, thank you, sir. That's your true talent. Don't let anybody know. The Lansing volleyball program wrapped its season up on July 31st. We were very proud. Our parking logistics that we created, the volleyball parents like to park really, really close to the courts. So we created a little bit different dynamic for them. They were very cooperative, and it worked out very well to keep our participants and our guests safe as they enter those courts. Our regular maintenance will continue in August, and we'll have our softball fields, we'll have some newly designed warm-up bullpen areas. Lansing girls softball will be having a fall softball league, so that'll be more games at the complex. And final invoices for all the programs will be sent to the league presidents before the end of August. And then finally, for the historic fort hangar, the logistical plans for our 100th anniversary celebration of the hangar on September 18th and 19th are being finalized. These include both good weather and bad weather scenarios. If the weather is bad, storage and display areas for certain aircraft, other vehicles, and equipment that will be part of the weekend will be a top priority. And after a meeting with our architectural firm to determine the Ford hangar renovation timeline, all private events that are booked for September and October of this year will be held as scheduled. Thank you, trustee.
Thank you, Ken. I know the weather hasn't been your friend this season, but at least you have a really cool umbrella. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ken. You look a little bit like Mr. Poppins on there.
You're not nearly as successful.
Thank you. We're going to move into a public comment. Public comment here tonight will be anyone that would like to speak. Please come up to the microphone here. We do ask that we keep it to 5 minutes, but if you wouldn't mind giving your name and your address for our clerk, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Gammon and Karen Trumio, 18235 Old Farm Road. Good evening, Mayor Hardy, members of the administration, trustees, village staff, and my fellow residents. My husband Gammon and I would like to take a moment to express our sincere gratitude to Mayor Brian Hardy, the administration, our trustees, Public Works, the Lansing Journal, our first responders, and the Village of Lansing as a whole for the swift response to the storms that recently swept through our community. Like so many families throughout Lansing, we experienced the effects of these storms personally. In the aftermath, we were incredibly moved by our neighbors. Without hesitation, they helped us clear debris and deal with the limbs that had fallen onto our roof. They didn't have to be asked. They simply saw a need and stepped in to help. And in a moment that could have felt frightening, overwhelming, and isolating, that kindness made the burden a little lighter. Mayor Hardy, I especially want to acknowledge you. During these trying times, you exemplify what leadership looks like when it moves beyond a title. I watch you get out into this community, roll up your sleeves, and physically assist the village. You weren't simply standing on the sidelines giving commands. You were present. You were working. You were serving alongside the very people you were elected to serve. That matters. I also watched and personally experienced our Public Works employees rise to the occasion. I believe I speak for many of us when I say that your presence and your response made us feel seen, respected, safe, and united. And perhaps most importantly, the work did not begin when the camera started rolling, nor did it end when the cameras were turned off. The work continued. There's an old saying that it takes a village. Well, these past several days reminded us that we are a village. The village is not simply the buildings we pass every day. It is not the streets, the signs, or even the boundaries on a map. The village is its people. It is the neighbor who walks across the street to help move a fallen limb. It is the Public Works employee who continues working when there is still another block to clear. It is the elected official who exchanges a suit jacket for work gloves when the community needs another pair of pants. It is every resident who chooses patience, compassion, cooperation, and service over frustration and division. Now is the time for the same spirit to continue. The storm swept through our community in a matter of minutes and left profound damage behind. We must remember that what nature changed in minutes may take weeks and months for human hands to restore. So as the cleanup continues, I encourage all of us to extend patience and grace to our administration, to our village employees, and most importantly, to one another. We believe in Lansing. We believe in our community. And we believe that if residents and our administration continue working together, not as separate sides, but as one village, we will not simply rebuild what was here before. We will have an opportunity to build back stronger, better, and more united than ever. Mayor Hardy, to you, your administration, our trustees, public works, our first responders, our neighbors, and every person who stepped forward when Lansing needed you, thank you for showing up. Thank you for reminding us that leadership is not only something we hear, it is something we can see. And thank you for reminding us that when the storm comes, and eventually, every community faces a storm of some kind, we don't have to face it alone. Because when it truly mattered, the village showed up. Thank you.
My name is Mark Evans. I live 3635 176th Place. Seems awful selfish to go up here and complain about what I'm here for. Some of you people, Mayor Dan, know I'm here, but this is a problem pre this storm. Is that since February, every single time it rains, my block fills up with water, and me and multiple of my neighbors' basements starts filling up with water from the drain. It's happened about 12 times this year. Not just this last storm, the storm before it is every time it rains. I would not doubt if I went home to water my basement from the small amount of rain that was happening while we were here. Now, like me and many of my other neighbors, we've got 1 to 2 feet of water multiple times. It's disgusting, it's sewage water, it's toilet paper, it's destroying our homes, our property, our possessions. I'm here on behalf of everybody on 176th Place between Maple and Wentworth. Just curious of what actions are gonna happen, when are they gonna happen, and about any potential compensation for all of our property and possessions that are now destroyed.
Well, yes, we met with you, sir, I know that, and I know that Public Works was going to send a camera down to see if there was any blockage, you know, in that sewer system. I know when I drove by, I believe it was today or even yesterday, there was some cameras being deployed down throughout the sewer system. I'm sorry that, you know, the basements are flooding. As we talked, that area from Wentworth to Maple Street on 176th Place, that entire street will be completely reconstructed from water mains to sewers to curbs and new blacktop. So that will get corrected. I can only hope that, you know, with the cameras and hopefully some cleaning, that's going to alleviate, you know, some of the damage that has been happening. I've learned a lot, you know, on the sewers and storm waters and how they, you know, go together, and some lines are not. But I know that our Public Works has been working really hard to try and mitigate, you know, the damage to the homes. And I'm sure that, you know, we could probably, you know, have a discussion, you know, on, there is some compensation, you know, to those residents that might happen. Again, that's something that internally I will talk with our finance director, Brian Hannigan, along with our village administrator, Dan Brokowski. But the amount of rain that we had, I'm not here to make excuses, but the amount of rain that we've had over the last several months is precedented. It's just amazing. I mean, I want to hear that, I think I'm hearing that we're like 10 inches already over what we normally get in summer. And unfortunately, when the water goes into these sewer systems, as we send it to MWRD, for them to treat and everything else, every other town that is in those lines also are trying to pass their water through. So we're going to work very hard to mitigate, you know, the damage that's down there. But I do ask that you would give us a little bit of patience right now, because we are going to get you a new street and new sewers. And I do feel very confident that that will alleviate those situations that you guys are having in your basements. So
Now I gotta meet up with 8 or 9 of my neighbors right after this, let them know what happens. Are there any details I can give them at all about when anything's gonna start happening, or when the street's gonna be fixed, like anything?
I believe the street's gonna get fixed, it's gonna start this fall, isn't it?
I believe we're finishing up the design, from an engineering standpoint, probably gonna get out to bid this fall and potentially get some work started before we lose the rest of the construction season. As the mayor was saying, part of the design of the plan is to install additional storm sewers from essentially your house to the west to Wentworth, so that the entire street will be separated. You'll have a separate storm and sanitary. I think that is certainly what's contributing to some of the sanitary backup, because half the block is on a combined sewer. But we're certainly hoping that the televising of the sewers is gonna reveal some type of blockage, because as you guys have stated, since February, you know, you've had a number of blockages. So you know, nothing's changed from a infrastructure standpoint since February. It's the same street, it's the same, you know, half a block with storm and the sanitary in the middle. So we're hoping that when we get cameras down there, it's gonna reveal some type of blockage that we can at least relieve, so that you don't have backups every single time it rains. And then when the new road, water mains and storm sewers go in, then it'll provide additional capacity, which should alleviate any future issues. Because then the west half of the block will be disconnected from the sanitary. You'll have your own storm sewers.
Because we just allow us to just worry, because every time it rains, we get it, and got a half a foot to a foot of water in your basement for, I mean, well, it was days because the power was out, so we got a generator and got the sump pump working. We had a foot of water standing in our basement. This was, this was the second time in a week we had over 6 inches of water in our basement. As you guys know, like 12 times since February. And just we're worried about our health, our family's health, some of my neighbors are worried about children, older parents, just the smell, the bacteria. We only keep cleaning so much, and it just keeps flooding every time it rains. Not even big rains, we've talked about this, not big rains, not the rain season, it's just February, every time it rains. It's just, the question is how much is going to come up through the drains in our basements. We're starting to worry about just our health in general, just the months of it. We're just worried in general about everything now.
I know we will meet, we'll make time to meet with the neighbors within a week's time. We'll get together and we'll have a good discussion, all right?
I'll see if we'll try to do it again like we did before, where it's later, so we're off work.
Right, yeah, exactly. We'll make it worse convenient for you.
I'll talk about it, see what it's being for.
Yeah, but we'll get some kind of a plan going, but, at least maybe I might be able to get more details on when that construction is gonna start too.
Appreciate that.
You got it. We will have that discussion again. I appreciate you guys coming in. It was nice to be with you and the neighbors. As a mayor, it is concerning to me, and I was glad that our superintendent from Public Works was also there with his staff and immediately got the cameras going down the sewer line to see if there's any blockage. So hopefully we get some good results from that as well.
Yeah, I do understand. As of today, it is now all of a sudden really bad timing.
Right.
With what happened last week.
Exactly. Yeah.
But-
A lot of things going on, but that doesn't mean we're gonna stop. So we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna make sure that we work hard, get everybody restored back here in Lansing, because that's what Lansing does. We are Lansing strong. So we will not leave you alone. We'll make sure that it happens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Hardy, trustees, and fellow residents. I just want to first of all say thank you guys again for all your valiant work and the assistance we've had throughout the storm. My name is Sean Drumgold. I reside at 18425 Oak Avenue. I'm here on behalf of my mother, Carolyn Drumgold, who resides at 18249 Dijon Lane. We're here seeking some sort of assistance and relief with the Eisenhower Park District. We have some issues. My mother is a resident over 20 years now. She's also held the community in high standards, and she recently encouraged myself and my older brother to buy homes in Lansing. So now it's 3 family members who own homes in Lansing. And my mom recently had double knee surgery, and I took her to the Eisenhower Rec Center to get a membership. And during that time, she didn't have a membership that long. I'm not going into the full details, but she received an email saying that her membership would be revoked for life. And I thought that was, just egregious to me. And we're seeking to get in contact with someone. I've been up to the Eisenhower Rec Center, and I've been dismissed on several occasions, saying that there is no authority higher than, I believe, to Michelle. So we have had no resolve, and my mother, once again, she needs the services of the Eisenhower Rec Center. She just recently had another knee surgery, and as of, I believe, recently, they're still taking the membership fees out of her bank account, and she's,
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off, and I certainly want to, help you and your mother here. You need to go to the Orlando board, the Orlando Park District Board, their board meetings. They're the ones that are definitely going to be able to help you. It's a different government body, than the Village of Lansing. But I will say that I know that, they have public comment there as well during their board meetings. I'm not sure when their board meetings are. Do any of the trustees know when, Trustee Smith, do you know when that is?
They're on Mondays.
We'll get you the contact. Every third Monday, that they have their board meetings. And I would definitely present what you're telling us to their board of trustees and their president. And I would think that they would certainly accommodate whatever you need.
thank you.
You got it. Thank you. Yep. Anyone else for public comment? All right, if not, we'll close that portion. The trustees have anything for old business? Do the trustees have anything for new business?
The mayor has something for new business, in light of all of our storms, it's an act of God that's really not out of our hands. We'd love for us to either review a tree or sidewalk planning program if we have one, just to be more proactive and have proper planning. I don't know if we have a list of trees that need to be trimmed. Just going around the neighborhood, the community, you can see parkway trees have been uprooted out of the concrete and out of the ground. So, I think there's something that we could probably do something proactively. It needs larger trees, trimmed down, cut down. I know that I had Earl come by my block with a really large tree. Had you not removed that tree, that had the concrete or the sidewalk up, it would have fell on the house. So, in that sense, I would really love for us to get ahead of this, you know, before we see that these storms are normal to us now. If that's something that we can revisit and look at, perhaps this can mitigate the destruction that we see on Lansing property as well as the residents' property. So I welcome that. Anyone that would like to have a dialogue about getting a program together or revisiting what we have.
No, I think that's a great idea, once we, you know, kind of start surveying, especially the damage and everything else that we gotta do. Being proactive has always been all our motto, and I know that we'll continue to do that. And there's no doubt there's been a lot of sidewalk damage by a lot of these large trees that have been unearthed by the windstorm and the tornadoes. And I know that we'll go ahead and be aggressive on getting our sidewalks repaired. And I am a tree hugger, so all these trees that are damaged, I'd love to see more trees planted. And earlier, do you have anything that you want to add on? I know that's kind of, we do definitely want to be proactive about all that, so.
No, we've actually received a number of calls as far as in regards to looking at our future, as far as we definitely see a point, we definitely want to be more proactive as far as looking at that. We also want to look at planting the right trees. What is the village going to look like after the fact, as far as those, that's going to be essential as far as this part of the conversation. So anyone out as well, as far as we'll present information to Public Works, we'll be more than happy as far as taking information from our trustees, administration, as well as our public as far as what is the village going to look like after the aftermath as far as when we finish our recovery program. So it's important for us to recognize that and actually do due diligence as well.
Thank you. Do the trustees have anything else? If not, I need a motion to adjourn. So moved. And we have a motion and a second. Please take the roll.
Trustee Boston.
Aye.
Trustee Zeldin.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson. Aye. Trustee Smith. Aye. Trustee Lamont.
Aye.
Trustee, that's it.
2-minute recess. Good evening. We're going to start the committee of the whole meeting here August 18th, 2026. Clerk, would you please take the roll call?
Trustee Zeldin.
Here.
Trustee Robinson. Here. Trustee Boston.
Here.
Trustee Smith. Here. Trustee Lamont.
Here. Thank you. Trustees have before them the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting on July 21st, or 2026. Any questions or discussions on those minutes? If not, I need a motion to accept. So moved. Second. We have a motion and a second. Clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Boston.
Aye.
Trustee Zeldin.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson. Aye. Trustee Smith. Abstain. Trustee Lamont.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move right into the mayor's report. I know I see John Wilson is back there, so John Wilson will be doing some presentations here on, we have the ADTS approval of the Lansing Trail Town application, along with a memorandum of understanding of the ADTS and Village of Lansing. So, John, I know you're near and dear to the ADTS, so fill us in on the American Discovery Trail.
Well, Mayor, thank you, but before I get started, I'd like to have some protection up here for those flashy red, white, and blue umbrellas.
Yeah, right.
It kind of hurt my eyes a little bit.
I was
so-
thinking that's why it was probably raining a lot, it was a color, umbrella, you know, not in the socks.
I don't know if I'll be able to see more about this meeting, but anyway, Mayor, everyone, the Village of Lansing submitted an application to become a trail town for the American Discovery Trail. Committee, kudos to the committee, the mayor and the trustees appointed, Mary Patchen from the Chicago Southland, Audrey Green Hawkins, president of the Lansing Chamber of Commerce, Sally Reynolds, retired teacher, longtime board member from the Landover Park District, strong community supporter, Timothy Williams, who's a village resident, active cyclist, and village administrator at the Village of Linwood, and Gary Warfield with the Sachs Partners, owners of the former Lansing Country Club. Those 5 people put together an application on behalf of the Village of Lansing. we got notice back on August 7th that the village of Lansing will be the first trail town in Illinois and the second trail town between the Mississippi and Ohio River. And this is the entire United States. There's only 4 other trail towns from the West Coast to the East Coast. So congratulations to this committee, congratulations to the village. And I've said before, build it, they will come. And once we get the Lansing Greenway gap finished, they will come to Lansing and dollars will be spent. The Trail Town application was the hard work again of these people, the Southland and the Chamber put together a program. It's called Bandwango. That'll be on our trail markers, which QR codes, so when people come to Lansing, they'll be able to flip on that QR code and see businesses that are friendly to hikers, walkers, rollers coming through Lansing. To date, there's 120 businesses on that list. And our next step is to finalize that list, fine tune it, to have the businesses that support and just then general businesses in town. It's a great project. We got an educational component in it. District 158 has a great bicycle program for kids. They're teaching kids how to safely ride bikes. We met briefly with the chief a few weeks ago about e-bike situation. The schools would like to go in that program for safe riding for e-bikes. Work with the country club, possible opportunity to have a welcome center there. Timothy Williams has been in charge of special events. We're bringing back the old Lansing Chamber of Commerce loop ride, probably in 2027. So there's just good things to look forward to the trail town work. So congratulations to you guys and the village. You're now the first trail town in Illinois. The minimal understanding in your package tonight, that's the last step. Becoming a trail town, it's just basically a simple memorandum of understanding. We support the Trail Town effort of the American Discovery Society, and they support our efforts in promoting the trail. As you probably read it already, this pretty much mirrors itself, the responsibility and expectations for the village and for the American Discovery Trail Society moving forward.
Thank you.
Next.
Yep. Well, the next thing would be
the relay.
Well, we don't have anything really for the relay on this.
I mean, I would just, glad you put it on the agenda, but just go ahead, you can.
Yeah, kind of update us on that 250 relay.
Right. If I could have the assistance of Mr. Cubby up here.
Well,
Thanks for the picture of PC there.
It just goes to show that a White Sox fan can work with this.
Well, I still love up there. I love it.
We got a reenactment.
So, again, working with the American Discovery Trail Society, Lansing will be the site on October 14th. The American Discovery Trail Society came up with a program, 250 relays celebrating America's 250th birthday and the American Discovery Trail, just to promote that. As I said before, the American Discovery Trail comes through Lansing. It's a 6,800 mile trail from the West Coast to the East Coast. They started the relay in July 7th, July 4th in that area, and they're traveling all the way across the United States, north and south, American Discovery Trail. And on October 14th, it will be here in Lansing. They'll arrive here on October 13th in Frankfurt. Will have an event. The trail relay will go to Manson and Park Forest, Linwood and Glenwood. And on October 14th, roughly around 8 o'clock, we will get the baton and we will carry the baton to the state line and pass it off to Indiana. The committee right now, we've met with all the school districts, the village staff. Everything's kind of tentative right now, but after September 8th, there will be more publications going out, letters of invite, the who's, the what's, the whens, and the wheres, so I suggest strongly to look at the village website for more details, and then contact the village for questions. But we will have a celebration of the relay at the Pensy, we're across the Greenway, on the 14th. Everyone's going to be invited, everyone's come out. That's basically it.
It looks like a neat logo. Mr. Ross, could you hold it up higher? I really can't see it live.
It's kind of short guy here, so.
Stand up.
Perhaps a taller assistant. It's very nice, thank you.
Where can we hang that?
The plan for this, we have 3 signs like this. On the 14th, we're gonna have all the participants sign all of them. And then I'll be back to present one to the village, and one will go to the south end.
These dimensions, Mayor, look pretty familiar if it matches the hardware we have on the American 250s.
Correct.
Or the Ford AR100s that are coming up. You can find locations on certain poles and even swap some out.
I would love to get a couple of those made up and kind of get them throughout town.
Sign around.
Sign around.
Yeah.
You got it.
If these, I'll catch you. These are the specs. Ours are good.
That's it, anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. All right, that's all I have under the mayor's report. We're going to move on to the village administrator's report. Mr. Podgorski.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of items here this evening, just as a reminder, so that memorandum of understanding, we'll have that on the agenda in a couple of weeks to formally consider that. And then on my report tonight, a couple of items, both of which involve Sylvia Coco, who everybody knows, owner of Dilres Dixie Kitchen. Sylvia, welcome. Been a stalwart in Lansing for so many years. Dixie Kitchen is, of course, at 17940 Torrance, side of the old Popolanos, and Sylvia has remade that into really a destination restaurant and one of our probably most popular independent restaurant in Lansing. So, Class 8 renewal is up, or the Class 8 incentive is up for renewal, and Mike Marshalla from Sandrick is here tonight. So, Mike, I'm not sure if you're going to present or Sylvia or a combination, but
I'll stand up.
go ahead, and then you can, just go ahead and start on Dixie Kitchen.
Sure. So as you all know, thank you, Mayor, thank you, Administrator Podgorski and trustees. Thank you earlier for passing Class 8 for Mr. Martinez. And as you know, the Class 8 is important. It's one of your economic development tools that you can use to retain, recruit, and help businesses, enhance businesses to expand in the village. Dixie Kitchen has been in the village since 2015, correct? Or is it been around?
Before that.
Oh, before, I'm sorry, okay.
2018 at the current location.
2018 at the current location, okay. The restaurant employs 25 people. Is it 25 now? 35, okay, so even more than I thought. Which, as you know, will spread out to all their local businesses, community, as well as all the foot traffic and car traffic that this restaurant brings, which generates restaurant generates sales tax on food and beverage, and it just creates a nice presence on the Torrance Avenue corridor over there. One of the things that's been the issues, as you know, is their parking lot. Sylvia's recently did some temporary repairs and is planning on redoing the parking lot completely within the next year. She's actually saying she's going to be getting bids in the next week or so. Thanks to your recommendations, Dan, she's reaching out to those companies. But as you know, the Class 8 is important to keep the taxes manageable. The second installment bills just came out today, and her bill with the incentive on this property is just over $30,400 with the incentive. Without it, it would be about $70,000 to $73,000. The savings that she gets is going to allow her to do things like completely repair her parking lot, keep 35 employees employed, and keep the business going and thriving in the community.
pointing out, you know, the disparity between, you know, with the Class 8 versus what it would be without. A lot of times, you know, we'll have some of our larger corporate employers coming in here. It's important that they get considered for tax incentives as well, but I think it's probably, this county tax incentive is probably most aptly available and geared towards the owner-operator at Dixie Kitchen. I mean, when you consider a family-run business, you know, $30,000 property tax bill, which is nothing to sneeze at, and without it, it'd be over $70,000. I mean, I think that's, more than anything else, I think that's what we as a board, you know, are here to consider and to recommend to our elected officials, because this is the type of incentive that helps us, you know, level the playing field and try to be competitive with the tax structure, which is, you know, more feasible without the incentives in Indiana. So glad you pointed that out, and appreciate you know, Sylvia making a commitment to improve the parking lot. We've got a great food destination area forming on Torrance, and you know, it'll look even better with a lot of stuff. We look forward to Dixie Kitchen being there for many, many years. I mean, Dixie Kitchen's been in Lansing since the late '90s, but I think since you moved it to that location, I think you've really turned it into a destination.
Thank you, Dan.
Any questions for either Mike or Sylvia on the Class 8 renewal at Dixie Kitchen?
Our hats are off to all entrepreneurs that go through all the struggles of business going and keeping our folks employed, and all of the strings that are attached to that, insurance and salaries and upkeep of the building, and to stay at it in economically trying times is just very admirable. We're thankful that you're up to the challenge, and we want to help any way we can.
And Sylvia, I gotta tell you, as an entrepreneur, you are a great entrepreneur. You're a great business owner. Every time when I'm in your establishment, you are there. Your food is amazing, and we need you around because you have some of the best key lime pie besides Key West. So, anyway, but yeah, your food is amazing, and I love when your parking lot is full, and we're glad that you're here at Lansing. We would love to see this thing.
All right, so if there's nothing else on the Dixie Kitchen renewal, I'm gonna keep Mike and Sylvia up there as towards the back end of the Class 8 application. We actually have we're sort of doing a 2-for-1. So Sylvia also owns Kilroy's at 3502 Ridge Road, and we have a facade application for some new awnings. Sylvia, do you want to describe them? It's basically going to be on the.
Mike had told me earlier that he presented all of you with a pamphlet, and there's pictures in there. So Chesterfield awnings in South Holland. I know it's not in town, but I was very limited to the companies I could find for awnings. So I'm actually here to participate in the facade improvement grant. I already put a deposit down, and I'm just waiting for them. I don't know how, it could be busy, but it should be here by fall. And I actually will make a phone call to find out where it's at right now.
The awning's going to be on the corner. And
It will be on the entire front of the building, and we have a new one at the front door that says Kilroy's, and then I'll have some on the side.
Excellent.
So covered up your angel, right?
No, actually, that was my idea. I went to Denver, Colorado, and saw the angel, and went to Nashville and saw one, so I decided I should have made them larger, actually. But people do stop to take pictures with the angels, with the angel wings, so.
See you often.
Yeah, people actually send me the pictures when they do it too, so.
So the awning is estimate is at $12,356. Yeah, it's a 40% reimbursement on vendors that are outside of Lansing, so that will be just under $5,000 of reimbursement. So you order it, you after approval, you get it installed, pay for it, and then you come back to us for reimbursement. Okay.
Appreciate it, thank you.
All right. Any questions for Sylvia or Mike on either one of those two items? Not, the board is okay, we'll have both of them on for consideration at the next meeting on September 1st. Very good, thank you.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, next item for discussion tonight, I have Caitlin Johnson from SB Freeman. Caitlin, thanks for waiting and being patient tonight. So SB Freeman, the village hired this firm probably about a year and a half ago to do some TIF eligibility assessment and consideration of properties in the old Landings TIF district, which encompasses the old shopping center north of 170th, east of Torrance. We got to a point where it was pretty clear that the eligibility criteria was likely to be met. However, the project that was driving it at that time didn't move as quickly as we were hoping. And we've also kind of paused and had some discussions about what should that Landings area look like in the future. It's pretty clear that 100,000 square foot buildings are not being reborn as retail any longer. So we really had some discussions about how does that Landings area look? What are the uses that we permit in that area? There is since that time, we've talked about it just in very large brush strokes here in the monthly economic development report, but we do have a project that we're likely going to be bringing here soon for consideration by the old Cinema 8. We think that will essentially be the project that drives this first effort and potentially redesignating the area or portions of it as a tax income and financial district. So Caitlin's firm has to kind of refresh the eligibility criteria and then formally take us down the road of establishing a TIF in this area if that's what the board desires. Most of you on this board, we've done that recently with South Burnham TIF and North Torrance. So that's kind of the backdrop to it, and Caitlin's the expert, so I want to turn it over to her. But basically, we need to amend our engagement letter with Freeman so they can continue to help us get this area suitable for redevelopment. So, Caitlin, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you for the introduction. My name is Caitlin Johnson. I'm a Senior Vice President with SB Freeman Development Advisors. As Dan has mentioned, we've been engaged with the village for just over a year now, working as their TIF consultant. We began our analysis by looking at a larger area around the Landing Shopping Center to determine if we thought it would qualify as to be designated as a TIF district under state statute. We have confidence that we'd be able to designate that area. In further discussions and discussing strategies around supporting redevelopment and which projects might be ripe for development in the near term, we've determined that a smaller boundary is more prudent at this time to ensure that as projects come along, additional TIF districts could be established to ensure that we'd have maximum amount of time available to support future projects, as well as to support flexibility with ongoing sub-area planning in this area. So at this time, we are considering a district that encompasses the area north of Exchange Street, including the Cinema 8 building, as well as the bigger industrial building there. This will require an amendment of the existing Bernice TIF. So the scope of work that's presented does include fee authorization related to that effort as well as consideration of expanding that district to support future redevelopment opportunities. Our work also includes an allowance for ongoing support. We had previously conducted market analysis to understand development and redevelopment opportunities in this area, looking at retail and industrial. So there's an allowance within this scope to allow us to continue to support the village with those efforts and sub-area planning for the Landing Shopping Center and the re-envisioning of what that center can be, as well as the broader area. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Can I see the map, pretty specific parcels of property that sounds like are project driven. As we start to the redevelopment process of the land days, and a developer comes along and identifies, hey, the old Walmart or the old Burlington, they want to do something there. Is the idea that you would create new TIFs for each one of those specific projects, or would you amend the TIF to expand the zone of those?
Depending on the timing, that's the biggest influence there. I think given where we're at with our understanding of the market potential, we anticipate that we may be several years out before redevelopment occurs there, just given by the time it takes to get the redevelopment process, construction, et cetera. So we were anticipating that we would consider the larger shopping center as a separate standalone TIF district in the future.
Is this TIF, proposed TIF contiguous with any other TIF?
Yes, it would be contiguous with the Bernice TIF, which is then contiguous to the rest of them. And the amendment to the Bernice TIF would also ideally include additional parcels to make it contiguous with the Ridge Road. That's what I was gonna say. The Ridge Road TIF. So they would all then be contiguous.
Any questions for Caitlin? I know this is very top level, and I mean, most of the board members have been through TIF eligibility studies. It's, you know, as you've heard me say before, sometimes municipal government isn't super sexy, but this is the type of work that we have to do to prepare for redevelopment and to incentivize larger projects. And I really enjoyed. I'm actually glad that we kind of paused for a while that you did the initial eligibility study. We've had some really robust discussions about what this area looks like in the future, and I think we're tackling it the right way. And I think it's pretty clear, you know, just from redevelopment in other areas, you're not going to see, you know, those 80,000 square foot buildings come back as retail. So there may be a user at the Cinema 8 that I think we probably will bring here fairly soon, which could be something that draws other business around it, and I think that will play out as we consider the rest of the shopping center as a whole.
Yeah. And one thing I would just like to add, I did mention that, you know, it could be several years out before we see redevelopment of the shopping centers, but should business come along that would like to locate there and needs TIF support, typically it's about a 6-month process to establish the TIF. So, you know, if somebody's knocking at the door wanting to get in there, you know, TIF is a nimble tool that we can get it in place in order to support development opportunities as it comes. So don't feel that by not including it now, you could be missing out on opportunities.
Caitlin, it's the first time I've ever heard anybody say TIF is a nimble tool, and I appreciate the fact that you said things. It has not felt nimble to me in the past, but it's one of the reasons why we're glad that we're working with SB3.
In the scheme of economic development, you can get it passed pretty quickly.
Sorry, just one more question, just so I understand tips. So say the area that's proposed here gets redeveloped. Does that alter the eligibility of the non-TIF areas? And would that create like to not be a blighted area, or is it specific to the drawn out map?
It's specific to the parcels included within the district.
Thanks.
Where it takes significant man hours and studies and presentations to walk us through this process, I guess I was just not aware of the total price tag in the past work that we have done. Has there been a significant uptick in the cost of doing these kind of studies in recent years, or is this on par with what we've been?
I'm not sure what it previously was. I know you had a previous consultant involved. This is kind of our SB Friedman standard pricing for TIF district, just given the amount of public approval process that it takes, and the detailed eligibility reports that we produce. We have a rigorous approach to our eligibility analysis.
In the past, I've also seen a kind of a spreadsheet of a timeline? If this goes forward, what would be your estimate of a logical timeline for phase 1, 2, 3 of that work?
So phase 1 and 2 would be completed at the same time, given that you would need to first amend the Bernice TIF in order to then reestablish this area as a new TIF district. So typically we have a 2 to 3 month process for eligibility and documentation, and then it's about a 3-month process for the public approval process, which is a joint review board meeting and then a public hearing and a various noticing that occurs during that period. The biggest kind of variable that we have at play here is how the amendment for the Bernice TIF will go, which parcels will be included in the eligibility around that. We've conducted most of the analysis for this area already. It's more of a refresh. So to the extent that it's a clear path forward with the Bernice TIF, I think we can move fairly quickly.
Maybe the finance director could answer this question. So being contiguous with another TIF, does TIF pay for TIF studies? TIF 20 that funds.
So we have this, we have this money in the general fund budget, in the planning budget. But I believe it would be reimbursable after the TIF was created.
Yes. Yeah, we had a TIF as a form, yes, so there's really no other way to do it other than get general fund paid for it. Talking about Attorney Welch, this can be reimbursed from the lands and names or when it's should establish.
I understand.
And you could even, once it's created, transfer contiguous TIF increment into the new account and reimburse you. As long as they're considered
And the landings is the one area we haven't had a ton of success on, but I think that's about to change. And we've had good success on Torrance north of 80, good success on Torrance south of 80. Some good projects on Ridge Road, and really the landings is kind of that one last area where we haven't had a home run yet. Obviously getting Great Escape to be where the window company used to be is a big one. And if we can bring in a new user that changes the landscape by Cinema 8, it could be a real draw, really lead to a lot of future redevelopment in this area. So it's exciting. Okay, anything else for Caitlin or us on this one? Looking forward to it. Okay, if not, we'll have this additional engagement for consideration at the next meeting on September 1st. Caitlin, thanks for being here. Appreciate you waiting.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Administrator. We're going to move on to our village attorney's report. Mr. Walsh.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, sir. Finance and HRC Trustee Smith.
Yeah, I got something exciting. Director Hannigan, would you like to talk about the Hammond water supply break?
5 minutes.
Less than 5 minutes. So, board, before you, you have a document that is the renewal of the water agreement with the city of Hammond. I'll just take a quick couple of minutes to talk about the request. And my hope is that the board is going to approve this in full at the regular board meeting on September 1st. In February, we received a note from the city of Hammond on the renewal. It was for a 60-cent increase per thousand. To give the board and residents an idea what that means, it's about $10 to $12 a quarter. So our average bill is somewhere between 8 and 12,000, or 18 and 21,000, 6 to 7,000 a month, 18 to 21,000 a quarter. The agreement that you have before you is for a 20-year term, which again, the current agreement expired about 2 months ago. This will take us through September 1st of 2046. I still believe, as I've said to the board before, this is the best, lowest cost source of water for residents of Lansing. The new agreement will be 88% of the city of Chicago rate. To give you an idea of what's happened in the last 20 years, City of Chicago's rate is $4.98. Our rate in Lansing will be $4.38. We're 88% of that number. 20 years ago, the cost of 1,000 gallons of water was $1.33. So it goes without saying, the cost of water is going up around the entire country, not just in the Chicagoland area. But this is clearly a better alternative, in my opinion, than the City of Chicago. The agreement does give us the flexibility if we do find an alternative source of water in the future during that 20 years. Administrator Pike-Lewis and I met with the team from the City of Hammond, and then we further met with Mayor Hardy to go through a lot of these terms. So, and then lastly, in addition to the flexibility, the new rate will be set every other year, as opposed to the City of Chicago, which changes their rate every June 1st. So again, my request to the village board is that we have this approved on the September 1st meeting. One last thing, we are only going to put through the City of Hammond increase. I think the board has heard me talk about some of the need for infrastructure improvements. I don't have to tell this village board, or certainly not the head of public works, about all the water mains that we have in the village. I think that's directly impacted by the age of our infrastructure, but we're not going to do that at this time. We're just, with everything that's happened this summer in Lansing, we're just going to pass through the City of Hammond's increase. At the time when we come back to the board for our levy, we'll talk about what we need to do on our infrastructure needs and enhancing the water fund. But that, I don't think this is the time or place to do that right now. I think in meeting with the mayor and with the administrator, clearly all we're going to do now is pass through the cost to us of the Hammond increase, which, as I said, is 60 cents per 1,000 gallons. To give everyone an idea, 128,000 gallons. This is about $10 for about 8,000 gallons of a bottle of water if you were to put it at Strax, to give you an idea of the benefit of our rate. Now, I realize it's not, it's a bit of comparing an apple and an orange, because you're talking about showers, cooking, and everything else, but just to give everyone an idea, we will still be the low cost, in my opinion, provider of water to residents in this area, and that'll be the goal when we come before you later in the fall.
Thanks, Director Handy, and thanks for your work in this. Just a couple of questions, and I'm sure that we just had this discussion with Hammond. Why 20 years?
It really comes down to, I think 20 years is, again, I know it goes by, time flies. The agreement that we had in place was 20 years. In my experience of dealing with these, as an example, the town that I live in, Oklahoma, we have a 30-year agreement that had a 10-year option with the City of Chicago. So you want to, Trustee Abbasi, be long enough that we know where we're going to get water. It does have a 12-month notice that if we give City of Hammond notice, say for example, Chicago elects a mayor, I don't know if that'll happen, but it cuts the price of water in the City of Chicago by $4 per 1,000 gallons, so that we get an economic benefit from going to an alternative source. So Hammond has that right, and we have a reciprocal right. So from my perspective, having 20 gave us long enough time that we knew where we're going to get our water, but Administrator Pike-Gorski had a lot of input into giving us the flexibility to be able to go somewhere else. So we just have to give them about a year notice.
Okay. My other question would be, when I think of the City of Chicago, I don't think about, prudent financial, management.
Or cheap water.
And so I'd be concerned that 5 years down the road, the City of Chicago, because of their aging infrastructure, poor financial management, needs to raise their water rate double to what it is now, that we're tied to that based on other issues that they have. Is there not, is this just the way that we don't have any other alternatives? This is what they presented us?
Well, from the start, again, water, even that's provided by the city of Hammond, has gone up substantially. As the board probably might recall, it's about $1.12 per thousand just 3 years ago. So there's provisions in the agreement that allow us to go other places or to renegotiate the rate with Hammond. I think if Chicago, and believe me, I'm one of the biggest critics of the city of Chicago, because I think they use their water fund to balance their general fund in some ways. And it goes without saying, but I think all of these water providers, whether it's Hammond or Chicago or Waukee, they're all very interconnected with how much it's costing them to provide water. So I don't expect, that the city's gonna do that to their residents, because I think there's political fallout that the city of Chicago would have with their aldermen. And but we do have provisions in this agreement. I have had Councilor Welch look at it to give us, water agreements can be somewhat ambiguous at times, Trustee Abbasi, because they are for 20 years. They're not completely nailed down as to giving both the provider and the receiver of supply flexibility. So I think if something were to happen that way, I think we would have a sit down with the city. And I think Mr. Tykorski would agree, they've been very good to work with. They really have. They came to me in February, said this is gonna be the increase. They were gonna put it in on April 1st. I asked them to delay it until we could communicate to you. And this increase will go in September 1st, but residents won't have to pay for it effectively until December, about 90 days later in their December bills. So
My questions aren't meant to in any way down the work that you've done, or the administrator, the mayor. I trust you, just in curiosity of how these things kind of get put together. So thanks for your work on that.
Well, thanks. And again, it's also the safest and cleanest source of supply, as we all know. We all enjoy this great resource, which is Lake Michigan and the Great Lakes, and it's still the best place to get water. And I think Hammond, far and away, is the best source of that same water. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Henry, and Mayor has no further.
Thank you, Trustee. We're gonna go to Airport and Insurance, Trustee Smith for Trustee Valencia.
Thank you, no items,
Thank you. Fire and Economic Development, Trustee Abbasi.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple items for consideration. First, we are going to hear a special use request for operations facility. Forgive me if I don't pronounce this right, but ANF Services LLC, and I believe we have James Jones in the audience. I'll invite you forward, sir, to present the business, and then Maura, you'll come up and just kind of share the request and the findings of fact and the P&Z meeting results. We appreciate that as well. Mr. Jones, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, administration team. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. My name is James Jones. I am the sole owner of ANF Services. First thing is, what is ANF? AN is short for Anna. F is short for Ethel. Those are my deceased grandmothers. I started this business 11 years ago. Actually, next month makes 11 years. I started one vehicle 11 years ago and never knew it would be what it is today. Today we own over 22 vehicles in 2 states. We have really just grown. Just blew my mind. It's just a testament to commitment to customer service, because that's what this is about. Without customers, I would not be in business. We are a transportation company, limo company. We pretty much provide transportation on any level, from 30-passenger vehicle down to Escalades, sedans, things like that. We pride ourselves on moving people safely. How this works is we advertise everywhere. They'll call and book a ride to the airport. We do tons of weddings, funerals, you name it, quinceañeras, whatever event, we can pretty much handle it. A little bit about me. I am married, got 3 kids. I'm a former resident of Lansing. I stayed at 19241 Ada. So very, very familiar with the town of Lansing. Even before that, very familiar with the south suburbs. So I'm not a stranger to this area at all. The property in which I'm looking to purchase is 19530 Green Bay. Currently, we are residing in the village of Linwood. I'm renting there. When this space became available, I thought it would be a great location. Number one, because I know the village of Lansing. Again, I lived at 19241 Ada, which is about a block up from this property. So my goal is to move my headquarters there and operate out of that space. We do have plans on improving the location. Definitely, if you look at it now, it's to my opinion, it's an eyesore. So looking to definitely improve the interior and the exterior of it to make it suitable for my type of business. On the screen here, you'll just see some pictures of some of our vehicles here. It's not all of them, just some of the luxury vehicles we have, from the Ford Transits to the Sprinter Maybach, to the Sprinter limos, to the bus. Like I said, our largest bus goes up to 30 passengers. And we, again, looking to always upgrade and keep our fleet current. Again, majority of our business is airports. Well, I take that back, it's not the majority, but a lot of our private business is airports. The majority of our business, we are a contractor for Amtrak. So we pretty much provide transportation services for Amtrak 365, 24 hours a day, picking up just their crews, hauling them to the hotel. If you go downtown Chicago, you'll see these vans down there from Union Station to the Amtrak yard right there on Roosevelt Canal. We are their only provider down there that transport their crews. We take them in and out of town. A year and a half ago, they approached me and asked me if we want to expand. I said, sure. So we set up a satellite location in Battle Creek, Michigan, where we have some other vans down there where we also transport their crews. So the majority of our business currently right now is the contract that we have with Amtrak, just transporting their crews safely, again, in and out of downtown to the hotels and things like that. One of the things we'll bring to Lansing, number one, is because we have so many vehicles and we can accommodate a bigger group, working with some of the schools. Actually, I've gotten calls from some of the schools in Lansing before for field trips, whatever the case may be, and if we were able to accommodate, we did. Another thing that we will bring to the village is jobs. So I'm always looking for qualified people, qualified drivers. All of our drivers are professional. Some have CDLs that require to drive the larger vehicles, but we definitely are always looking for professional, either admin or drivers. So we definitely will bring some job opportunities to the village. What else? Let's see. So again, it's all about the customers with us. As I mentioned before, we've been in, next month makes 11 years. We have a very strong safety record. Our customer base spreads all over everywhere. NF also owns a laundromat right there in Burnham. So we definitely have a great working relationship with that village and with Mayor Polk over there. In the village of Linwood, we transport Mayor Jada Curry all the time to the airport. We actually just picked her up the other day. So our work speaks for itself. We're not new to this. We definitely know what we're doing, and we just practice professionalism at all costs. On this particular location, our larger vehicles, the plan is to house them inside of the facility, and we would probably have our transit vans outside of the facility. My goal would be to have that area paved where we can park our vehicles that looks way more presentable than what it looks now. So the goal is to probably have about 6 or 7 vehicles parked on the inside and about 7 or 8 vehicles parked on the outside, along with the employee vehicles. If you look at it right now, the owner currently has vehicles lined up. I don't know if they're working or not working or whatever, but that's kind of like where we would park our vehicles and keep the transits and stuff like that outside, because those are the Amtrak vehicles that goes out every single day, all day. So we keep those really accessible for the drivers to be able to access. Other than that, just some accolades. We were nominated for V103 IR Radio, bringing on Black Business Award in 2024. We're on all kind of social media platforms, how we advertise. And we just believe in saving lives. Believe it or not, someone told me this about 5 years ago, and it kind of stuck with me, like, you guys are lifesavers. So I kind of took that and ran with it, because truly we are. We do a lot of weddings again, and nobody wants anyone to drive home after the reception, so that's where we come in at. We do a lot of funerals where maybe someone's emotions are over the place, so that's where we come in at. Obviously, airports is big. We do tons and tons of airports to Midway and O'Hare. And we'll be looking to partner with the Village of Lansing. I know you guys have the concert series, the Fox Point, things like that. Then you got the airport right there. Will be kitty corner to the property that I am looking to purchase. So whatever we can do, like I said, we service pretty much anybody in Northwest Indiana, pretty much just inside the state of Illinois and Northwest Indiana. So that's pretty much the end of services.
Thank you. Trustees, any questions for Mr. Jones before we ask Maura to present the request from the P&Z board?
Yeah, Mr. Jones, so do your drivers all have chauffeur licenses?
So all our drivers are not chauffeur licensed. That's not required in the state of Illinois. If you own a limo, we don't specifically have the stretch limos. That's if you go into, that's when the city requires that. But because our vehicles are not technically limos, the only requirement, the special license they would have to have is a CDL, and that's just to drive the bigger vehicles. Okay. But the average transits and SUVs and sedans, you don't need a special license for that.
And do you do medical transportation, or it's just?
We don't really do medical transportation. I mean, we get a call to do something like that, we will, but that's not really what we specialize in doing, because that's a whole kind of another. I used to actually be the director for First Transit, which is paratransit. So I know that like the back of my hand, so I kind of want to stay away from that. Not saying that we won't in the future, but right now we don't really do medical unless it's kind of like a, every now and then I'll get a call, can you pick up my mom, and she wants to stop at the store and go to a movie or something. We would do something like that, but we don't do really the whole wheelchair and all that. That's a whole nother ballgame.
So are you 24 hours or only just under the contract with Amtrak that you operate 24 hours?
So we operate 24 hours. Obviously, if you're flying international and you got to be there at 2 a.m., we'll get you there at 2 a.m. So I gotta say, yeah, we are 24 hours. That's not our busiest time. Our busiest times, honestly, I would say starts at 4 a.m. roughly till about 9, 10 p.m. Now we do have vehicles coming in and out between 10 and 2. Like I said, it just depends if it's a Saturday night or people coming in from the airport and leaving out. It just really all depends. But our busiest time is definitely 4 a.m. to like roughly 9, 10 p.m.
And are you fee for service or contract based for like an individual or another business?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Could I put you on contract? Can I hire you for a month or 6 months or a year, like your business contract, or are you just fee for service?
Oh no, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. You can hire me for 10 years. I mean, as long as it's right, it's right. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of like what we do with Amtrak. We've actually been with Amtrak 5 years, and believe it or not, just a testament to this business. When we first started with Amtrak, we had one vehicle, and they just liked our service. It was one vehicle and 3 other companies down there servicing them in downtown Chicago. And here it is 5 years later, we are the only one. And we've just grown to Battle Creek. They even offered me Phoenix, Arizona. I turned it down. It's just, before I look bad, I'll turn it down. That's just too much right now. But we've definitely continued to grow with them. And they just, Amtrak is just busy. Anytime you work for the railroad, no one day is the same, so.
Mr. Jones, you mentioned that this building is kind of an eyesore in the village. Do you have plans for renovation? If so, what would that look like?
Absolutely. So the first thing would be the inside. So it's a transmission shop. So I need to really say it's not the cleanest. It's dirty. It's dirty. Looks like a lot of the stuff that's in there has been there for. I think the guy that owns it now has been there 22 years. So that desk that's in there probably has been there 22 years. So the goal would be to go in there, and it's not a whole lot of work that I've seen on the inside, because in the garage area he has like a lot of lifts and things like that. He says he's taking all that stuff with him, the racks. I would like all that stuff out of there. And then actually the office space is what we would kind of put a new floor, paint, and just everything else we got to do in there. On the outside, absolutely, definitely paint. There's an awning that looks really, really bad on the front, so we would look to replace that. And then again, it's like a gravel front, which it's gotta be a nightmare to plow in the winter. I don't know how they do it, but I would look to get that area right there paved and kind of towards the side of the building. In the front, coming towards the property off of Glenwood Lansing Road, that's all grass. I probably would leave that there, right where the sign is at. But just towards the back where it's gravel, I would look to pave that because obviously that's where we'll be parking at, and it'll just look a whole lot better than what it looks.
So specifically, we don't have anything to look at as far as what the front of the building would look like once you've renovated it.
No, I didn't really draw a sketch or anything like that. Just kind of what my thinking, my plan is just looking at the building. A couple times I've been over there. That's what I would like to do.
So there's no incentive request at this time, strictly special use. So if we got to a point where there was an incentive request, we will dial down and be more specific about what the village would want to see as far as improvements.
Mr. Jones, your vehicles you currently have now, off-site repairs, like you don't do service of your own, not?
Absolutely not. So we actually utilize the business here in Linwood, Gyms right there on Torrance. That's our main facility, and then Dobbs just opened up right there on Torrance. So between those two, those are our two main facilities that we do for our repair service currently now. But no on-site repair. The only thing that we'll do is maintenance cleaning. And that's just basic wash and vacuum out the vehicles and spray them down and things like that. But any repair work will be done at the repair facilities.
Awesome. If you don't mind, I'll maybe ask Maura to come up and Maura, can you share with us from a village perspective, what are we considering here and the reason for the request?
We just have a PowerPoint with the site. So we can show you exactly kind of the area. Oh, thank you. Oh. Okay, the request before us is special use in the B2 district. The classification is the operations facilities, ambulance, bus, and taxi cab, but within the definition allows for this use in itself. So the Plan Commission did go ahead and recommend approval for the special use in this particular area, which is the property that is highlighted here in yellow. It encompasses the two parcels. As Mr. Jones had indicated, this is the grass area here, as well as then the kind of gravel paved area around the building. The building's about 8,000 square feet, which as he had indicated that he would be storing some of the larger vehicles, which would be washed inside, no operation of repair, as well as then parking along the side. As part of the planning and zoning, looking at parking, the ordinance requires parking for employees as well as then parking for the vehicles. There are anticipated about 24 employees in total coming in and out. I think you had said, that would be at your peak time. So there is ample space for the employees to be parking on site. As well as some of the other things that the Plan Commission did discuss. We talked about noise, but looking at that, this is the landscape company that I think probably about 2 or 3 years ago, we approved that special use. So there's a landscape here as well as then surrounded by commercial on this side. There is residential to the north, but due to the kind of interim movement of vehicles, that there was no concern about any noise in there. Also, that the fire department did review and they did give comments, which the Plan Commission, Planning Zoning Board of Appeals did recommend condition upon, and that was that there would be no inoperable vehicles stored or parked on the site, as well as then due to the current conditions, they wanted to make sure that any vehicles parking on site should be managed so emergency access remains accessible to the building. The applicant had not indicated that either one of those were going to be an issue, but just to ensure, they had asked that that be a condition. One of the things to note with this is that this area here, we've had over the course of the years many inquiries about businesses. This is zone B2 with the airport overlay. Many of the buildings here present themselves more like industrial type buildings. We've had a lot of these type of uses that wanted to function industrial, but really couldn't because of the zoning. So when this operation came, being that it is a special use in the B2, that it does have that vehicle component to it, but does not have that harsh industrial, that fitting more appropriately and also being a complementary use to the airport that's immediately adjacent into the east. So this was one of those properties that I can't tell you how many phone calls we've gotten over the years that I've been working with you. So when this came, it just felt kind of a good fit in this particular area. So again, in summary, that the planning authority did recommend, I would encourage that the conditions that they did place on there that be continued and carried over.
Thank you, Maura. Trustees, any questions for our planner, Maura? No. Thank you, Maura. Mr. Jones, thank you for choosing Lansing. Love the name of your business and all of your grandmothers. And I certainly wish you luck and hope that this is another catalyst of growth for your business. So appreciate it, and we'll see what happens. We'll take this up for consideration in a couple weeks, and you'll know then. Thank you. Administrator and Mayor, this is the agenda of our next village board meeting. Thank you. With that, Mayor, I'm going to turn things over to our fire chief, who's going to be presenting us with a intergovernmental agreement for standby ambulances. Chief.
Thank you, Trustee. Just briefly, this is kind of just, I guess, adding to an agreement, a long-standing tradition we've had in the fire department. For years, even before I got here in 2009, we would send a standby ambulance to TF South games every Friday night. This agreement was far before my time, but we, again, off-duty employees would go to TF South to provide just a basic care if it was needed, and then we would be paid by the school district for our services. So really the only thing the fire department did was kind of just bring that ambulance to the games just in case transport was needed. Over the last couple of years I've been chief of the department, we've kind of made that a little different. We still do send our employees there to work as an off-duty detail, and we still do send an ambulance there as well, more for visibility. But should the need arise that we would have to transport somebody, we would call an on-duty ambulance to come and transport an injured player or somebody there watching the game to the hospital, as opposed to that ambulance that's just detailed there for that. 99% of the time, the athletic trainer handles most of the injuries there, and it's, we're just there kind of as an insurance policy. So in speaking with the athletic director from TF South, I believe the district's just trying to kind of codify all that and just kind of, we tend to do a lot of intergovernmental agreements, whether it's for school crossing guards or any of those things. So this is just, again, kind of more of a housekeeping item that they were looking to do. So working with Village Council, they drafted the agreement you have before you, and that is what is proposed tonight. And it kind of outlays, again, kind of things I went over. The school district does pay off-duty firefighters, men or women there, and we would just supply the ambulance.
Chief, the ambulance that's supplied, is it one of our in-service 1 to 2 firehouse ambulances, or is it kind of the reserve one?
We use the reserve ambulance there, and then the goal is we don't want to take away any of our on-duty personnel to work that game. Yeah, so now, again, like I said, if somebody was hurt, somebody has a heart attack, God forbid, or something like that, that on-duty ambulance would come to town to just transport. As if it was another person within the village that had called the ambulance.
Thank you, Chief. Trustees, any questions for Chief Monica? No. Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you.
This will be on the agenda for the next village board meeting. With that, Mayor, I have no further items. Thank you so much.
Thank you, trustee. We're going to move on to police and public works. Trustee Zeldin.
Thank you, Mayor. Give a presentation of the 911 Center Workstation proposed replacements. Invited up Supervisor of Applications and Records, Brian Weiss. Brian's been busy. We got a handful of proposals and quotes and plans and pictures, so take it away, Brian.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's time tonight. I have two things. First, it's the 911 Center Workstation project, and then secondly, a grant. Anytime I get somebody to pay something for us, that's a good time. so. So our 911 workstations, they're the ones that the telecommunicators sit at during their shift, 8, 12, sometimes 16 hours. These workstations hold all their equipment, the computers, the monitors. Currently, right now, there's 6 monitors at each workstation. We're gonna be moving to 7. It has everything they need to do their job. They are comparable to an officer's squad car or the firefighter's engine or ambulance. So they really directly affect each dispatcher. They used to be able to be adjusted to each dispatcher's needs, different heights, different sizes, whether you liked your monitors here or push back, and they no longer do that, and they're in need of replacement. The last remodel of the 911 center was back in 2002. The current workstations were installed during that remodel, and at the time, it met all the needs, the ergonomic controls, the adjustable heights, lighting, air movement, and heat. Everything was met. However, they're now 24 years old. They don't adjust, the environmental controls no longer work, and the general appearance of them are just kind of poor. So we definitely got our money's worth out of them, but it's time to replace them. We purchased the workstations in 2002 from a company called Zydex. Around the 12-year mark, we started having minor issues, and they were really responsive with parts. As years went on, even when parts were discontinued, Zydex kind of went out of their way. They actually found parts in Sweden for us one time. But eventually, just as stuff ages, there's no parts left. Due to our long-standing relationship with Zydex and their service, I asked them to provide a quote for 4 workstations, a long service life, high quality. We want to make sure that we have an improved work area for our telecommunicators, that they have those adjustments for their ergonomics, their heating, their HVAC controls, capable of handling not only what we need now, but in the future. Like I said, we can currently have 6 monitors. We're going to be moving to 7. And professional removal of the old workstations and installation of the new. The 4th workstation allows us for additional training on a live position and staffing for major events, or if we start to increase our staffing in the room. We're also going to replace some of the nice maroon 1990 cabinets that have been there since the station was built, and also a task table on wheels for additional workstation needs if needed. So, the original quote from Zydex for 4 workstations installed was $186,245.50. Due to our long-standing relationship, they discounted that down. They gave us a discount of $63,440.39. And then after some discussions back and forth, I got them to remove the tariff increase that they had put on it. So all said and done, the cost of the workstations dropped down to $122,805.11. There's also some additional project needs, running some new electrical, painting, carpeting, and technical labor. This project and all the additional project needs were included in this year's fiscal budget. We did go out and solicit quotes from 2 other companies, Watson and Evans, and you saw that in your packets. Taking everything in consideration, there really wasn't any huge price differences between the 2. However, Zydex seems to be set for centers that are medium-sized. The other ones are really meant for the larger ones. When you start to pare those down, you can sometimes lose some features, so I just feel that Zydex is the best fit for us. We had to address the outside of the radio system first, portable radios, the mobiles, all that field equipment, so we've done that. So now we can turn our attention to the 911 center itself, and we have an opportunity to provide the dispatchers with an updated and improved work environment, and it will look really nice in there for them. So, does anybody have any questions about that at all?
Why only 4 workstations?
We have 3, we'd be moving to 4. Depending on if, I know there's discussions about a potential remodel of the building, if that were to happen. These workstations are capable of being broken down, so it's not like in 3 years if all of a sudden a remodel happened that we wasted our money getting new ones, and we can always add on if we need to. That's the nice part about these two, we can add on.
You answered my second question too, as far as integrated with the new model.
Yep.
Yeah, these are all, I think, Brian, these are all portable, and I think, again, Brian has waited, he's been very patient on these workstations. We should have done this arguably 2 years ago. To his credit, he's waited until that 9/11 fund got built up, and this is one of the items, I know you're gonna talk about the grant on that too, which is another big thing, but this is something we plan on for quite a while, so. And as you just said, to answer Clerk Reed Paravish's question, it's portable so that when we have to deal with the remodeling and building, we can do it when we need to.
Yep. Absolutely.
You built a lot of trust capital, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Trust your proposal.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that.
Just add before you go on to the next item, just running through the scenario, the chaotic scenario that we just lived through. There was a time that we were encouraged to entertain the idea of going to an e-com or some other off-site dispatching center. We made a commitment to stay here. And I can only imagine a nightmare of having our calls and our communication with public works, with FP, BD, being funneled through an off-site location and being in the queue with 3, 4, 5 other towns when we're like ground zero.
Yeah.
For needing those communications prioritized. And I'm so glad that we made a commitment to stay as our own dispatch center, and been very patient working with the antiquated equipment. It just pays for itself in safety, in response, in keeping Lansing on target with the standards that we set and the things that our residents have come to expect of us. So, man, was I happy that we had our own dispatch center. And we need to maintain that, and it's a perfect example of why we do what we do.
It is, we're definitely, not perfect, but one of the big things that we can is at any point, Chief Goinga or Chief Phillips can come in and say, hey, we need to change something, and usually that day, the memo goes out to everybody. I mean, we really can tailor it to what we need, and our residents too. That's the thing, knowing how our residents are and where the different locations are in town, and ultimately making sure that we get the services to our citizens, but also making sure that all the police and firemen come home. I also applied for a grant from the state of Illinois for a brand new 911 phone system. I received $308,000. The new 911 system cost is $288,000, and the remaining $20,000 is the last payment from the multiple agency software grant that has been the never-ending grant. Never do that again. But anyway, the state of Illinois is pushing 911 centers to a more hosted. So instead of having all that equipment in your back room, it's off-site. That's what they want. So the Vesta 911 system is what we have right now. We'll actually just be migrating to their hosted system through AT&T. A couple more updates. Things will, additions and everything, but it's not like it's going to be a brand new system that everybody has to learn. The Vesta offers the next generation features in integrating additional data. We're already text to 911, we're already next gen compliant, but as things come down the road, they're adding things every day, pictures, videos, additional cell phone data that you can put in your own health information. And the grant includes a 4th position. With this would create an entire 4th position between the radio and now the phone system, and then that 4th console. The model that the companies use now is the hosted one. Basically, it's a monthly or yearly cost. The cost was originally for 4 positions was $5,200 a month. I got AT&T to discount it down to about $4,800 a month for us. So it covers 5 years. The only expense not covered by the grant is the line circuit of $350 a month, which has been included in this year's budget. And the remaining $20,000 is allotted as the last payment for the previous year EMD software grant. So, which I hope I can close the books on and never have to look at it. So, does anybody have any questions?
That's great on that grant. I commend you on that.
Thank you, sir.
You are definitely the great grant writer.
Well, thank you. I just wanted to real quick give a shout out to our dispatchers during the tornado and during these storms. Obviously, you know, one of the things is that everything starts with us in a room and then it funnels out, you know, to the police and fire. And just for comparison, the dispatch center handles between 250 and 300 phone calls in a day, you know, going in and out. During the tornado on June 26th, between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m., we had 160 calls. A lot of those were very frightened and scared residents because houses collapsed. And, you know, they were calling for help, and we were able to get that to them. This recent storm last week, in the same time frame, between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m., we had 542 calls, split between 3 people, because I jumped in to help. And it was a very, it was scary because you can start to put the picture in your head of what happened in the village as you're going on and as we're sending the police and fire departments out. But they did an incredible job during that. We got the help to where we needed it to be. And at the end of the day, we did what we had to do. So I just wanted to give them some thanks.
Please relay our appreciation to them as well in your communication with your staff. Again, just folks that we don't see, but that are an integral part of a success story. So thanks again for that. So given that we have these 2 presentations and we have a request that they be put on the agenda for our next village board meeting. And thanks again for your hard work. And these are all anticipated things as we went into the budget time. And now to see that they're coming through with some good price quotes and availability. Looking forward to seeing the new dispatch center as soon as possible.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brad.
Mayor, that's all I have for this meeting.
Thank you, trustee. We're gonna move on to building, IT, L&N, and marketing, trustee Lamont.
Nothing for this meeting, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to youth center and venue operations, trustee Thomas.
Mr. Mayor, tonight, we just have a presentation on the Ford Hangar 100-gallon exposition and proposed air show performance contract. So, pass it to Ken.
Good evening, board, and what's left of our once-packed room. Tonight, what we want to do is present a brief overview of some of what's coming for the Ford Hangar 100 celebration and commemoration, and actually a month from today. So what you're going to see tonight is some kind of a brief overview. I gave you and anyone that is here that would want one of these, this is kind of a promo card which outlines the 2 days, September 18th and 19th, that this celebration will take place. On September 18th is the kickoff of our Real Capital campaign to begin fundraising towards the cost of renovating the Ford Hangar to the degree that this administration wants to turn that into a unique destination venue. The September 19th part of it is more the celebration part
for the entire community. And that event is an open, it has a variety of components, one you're gonna hear about in a minute. And it has to do with showcasing the history of our village in conjunction with the hangar. And on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. will be an expo where people can go through the hangar, see a variety of displays, memorabilia, videos. One of the most exciting things is the unveiling of what the plans are for the hangar to look like, which will be unveiled on Friday night at our capital campaign and at our gala. But then on Saturday will also be available to the public to see. And I think that's going to be eye-opening for a lot of people of what the Ford hangar, what our vision is of what the Ford hangar can be. So tonight is not about outlining all of what's coming on the 18th and 19th. It's to lock in specifically on the air show component or the aviation showcase component of Saturday afternoon. So our events planner, Michelle Henderson, will step in a minute, talk about the contracts that are in front of you and that were in your packet for the aviation showcase presentations, which will be a component of the 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And Mr. McCoy, our aviation outreach coordinator, is also here to speak specifically to what those performances will be. So I'll turn it over to Michelle. Do you want to go mic or no mic, lady?
No mic.
No mic.
Hi everyone, so tonight I will be presenting the 3 contracts and what those contract rates are for the aviation showcase component of the Ford Hangar 100 celebration. So we have the Patriot Parachute Team at a contract rate of $16,500. We have Daisy Air Shows at a contract rate of $12,000. And we have Skip Johnson, the Air Boss, at a contract rate of $4,000. And I will let Mr. McCoy go into details of what they are providing us, what those contracts consist of, and the show will be getting out of them.
All right, good evening, Mayor Hardy, good evening trustees, good evening village staff and the community of Lansing at large. I'm James McCoy. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Flightline Systems, and my primary purpose is to conduct aviation outreach to the community of Lansing using this magnificent airport, municipal airport. We're having an aviation experience on the 19th of September, as the slide indicates, and the primary purpose of the aviation experience is to bring a level of excitement and enthusiasm to the airport using aviation as a vehicle. All right, we have a lot of young people in our community, as we learned in our aviation career day, that have some aspirations of joining the aviation industry. We want to keep those dreams going, as well as bring or highlight significance to the historic, the renovation of the historic hangar that we'll be celebrating with the gala on the 18th. We're going to have primarily 3 acts. It's a very short experience. We'll have the parachutists coming in at the beginning or the commencement of the gala on the 18th of September. They will land approximately 500 feet at the south of the Ford hangar door, and the festivities for the gala will commence after that. On the 19th, they will also begin with a jump that will land in the grassy knoll area just south of the tarmac. That will commence with the air experience, if you will. And then we'll have the Daisy Aerobatic Team, 2 performers come out and perform a few aerobatic maneuvers that are pretty exciting to see. And then we'll end with one of our tenants or resident aviation businesses, Summer Skies, who teach helicopter pilots pilot training, and they also give pilot tours. We'll end with a short demonstration of their prowess there as a business tenant here, local to Lansing. That will commence the aviation experience as far as the flight experience, and then we'll have local tenants that are residents at the airport, have static displays of their aircraft available for all citizens that come to the airport to walk up and touch and ask important questions, and again, continue with the enthusiasm for aviation. I'm not sure if you're excited, but I'm very excited about this. We have not had this here in Lansing in a while, so I'll end there and ask if there are any questions.
I was trying to read
air boss contract, but I kinda got lost in the details. What?
Yes, sir. Mr. Skip Johnson is a former F-16 pilot in the Air Force, and he is a designated air boss. And his primary function is to do the primary coordination of the air show or air experience event from that airport, or the airport, excuse me, with the FAA, and he has done so. And he will be here to be on site, to provide on-site coordination of that event as well.
Okay, so he's kind of like the general contractor oversight guy that's actually putting the show on. He's not a pilot, he's not bringing a plane, he's not doing a show. He's coordinating everything from the ground.
Yes, sir. He is primarily administrative in purpose. He is not a current pilot, and he is not flying an aircraft at all.
Is that a requirement from the FAA to have an air boss?
It is because of their expertise and experience in that field. Good questions.
You're coordinating possible plane rides also?
Plane rides. So possible plane rides by Summer Skies are possible. Right now, they're just planning on conducting a demonstration of their expertise in terms of flying helicopters. There could be a possible plane ride offering, if you will. We have time to revise that before we get there.
That all stays with the tri-motor?
Yeah, I think that's where the clerk was going, that's what it is, you know. So part of the Friday through Sunday, and even though the events are on the 18th and 19th, this, what the clerk was referring to, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at times, you will be able to actually purchase and pay for flight experiences in an actual Ford tri-motor plane. And so those will be, we are not offering that, they are offering that, if that makes sense, as part of the activities. There are blocked out times when the Ford Tri-Motor Company will be on the ground as part of our activities, both at the gala on the 18th and in the public viewing time on the 19th. But in and around those times, from the 18th through the 20th, which includes Sunday, as I said, you can purchase rides in the Ford Tri-Motor plane.
Do you have an idea of the cost?
I want to say $1.50.
Yeah, that's about right.
And I think if you want to sit shotgun clerk, I think there's a little bit, for a little more price, I want to say $210 or something
I
like
don't
that.
fly it.
Oh, well, that may be another rate. So another thing to mention that's on here as part, we are working with the Chicago Southland. You'll see a historic places motor coach tour. That is part of making this event regional and drawing more attention to it. So individuals will be able, for a cost, to purchase a motor coach tour that tours 10 different sites in the Calumet region, 10 very significant historical sites. And that will start at actually 8 a.m. in the morning, and will go through really kind of southland of Chicago and return back to the hangar at 1 o'clock, so that those individuals can also experience the rest of the open house, the expo, and the aviation showcase. I think it's very important to note that the combination of the Ford hangar will always have a connection to the airport. And even though our plans are for that to be a venue, as if it was somewhere else, it will always have the connection to the airport, and we will always require, with all of our improvements, that history is maintained. You know, in the walls, in the presentation, so even if someone isn't there for an event that has nothing to do with airplanes, they are going to see the historical connection of 100 years of what that building has meant to aviation and also what it's meant to Lansing.
I know it briefly mentions it in the contract, but if the passage terrible with weather, what happens if the weather is not certain?
Excellent, as I mentioned in my report, because I am the king of having it rain on any event that I'm connected with, we are making significant a plan A and a plan B, trustee, because there are things like the Ford Tri-Motor and other equipment that will be there that we will have to have an indoor site for, because we will transport and make sure individuals coming get to see these items. You know, they will be there, we have to protect them from the elements. So our run of show that Michelle will put together will have a good weather and a bad weather scenario. Inside the hangar, we're fine. But as the footprint of this event is going to be extended out past the hangar and all the way out to the tarmac for the aviation showcase. So I hope, I'm asking Mother Nature to give us one break, one weekend, so that we can really fully explore this, but there will be a plan B to make sure that our guests are safe, obviously, and that they can still see these things that they have signed up for or shown up for.
May I recommend a giant Cubs umbrella?
It may be a little bit bigger. So, but hopefully September weather statistically usually better. But again, we will go into this with a solid, an indoor plan and an indoor-outdoor plan. Would you agree?
I agree.
Both parts.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Click, I didn't understand the question about it was for the tri-mode is what you're asking for flights. I apologize.
No, that's all good.
Trustees have any questions?
We draw that 3 hour, 15-minute slot, baby. Nobody's got questions. Thank you. We will be back on September 1st with a more detailed overview of the entire weekend, which will include the 3 of us and also 2 other individuals. We thank you for your time.
That's all for today.
Thank you, trustee. We're going to move the committee to whole meeting to public comment. Public comment would be regarding any items that were on this agenda. Does anyone in the audience have anything they want to say? If not, great. Close that portion off. Trustees have anything for old business? Do the trustees have anything for new business? If not, I need a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss matters pertaining to litigation.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Yabowski. Mr. Zellner.
Aye.
Mr. Nelson. Mr. Smith. Mr. Lamont.
3-minute recess.